Warning, we're going to be discussing events for currently running weekly anime.
If you want to avoid spoilers for certain shows, there are timestamps in the description. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Timesink Anime Podcast, the show that is just a show, I guess. I don't really have anything creative or witty to say.
It's a show that definitely comes out every week with no interruptions.
Yes, no interruptions whatsoever. Not like getting sick or having wisdom teeth pulled has ever stopped us before.
Yeah.
No,
it's not my fault. Fucking Longview, Washington has been having like a ridiculous plague going around that's getting everyone sick.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, let's address that. So we're back. So it's good to have everybody back. It's good to be back. If you listened to us last week, we just released a quick thing, just kind of telling news for that week. We didn't record an actual official podcast episode. We just weren't feeling great, so that's why we just released a quick thing. So thanks to everybody who's still patient with us and still here. It's good to be back. Let's get right into news. Rex, what do we have? First of all, I'm Jay. This is Rex.
Yeah, you don't want to forget that again.
Yeah.
So we got a couple announcements for second seasons this week. First of all, there is Reincarnated as a Slime. Got a second season slated for
2020.
Yeah, 2020 was it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a show both of us still need to catch up on because we were watching it originally when it first started running. The beginning was pretty boring.
Yeah, and what we've heard is that, it does get a lot better as soon as Rimuru gets their actual body.
Yeah, I need to start introducing all these, interesting characters that we saw in the opening and stuff. It's got crazy good reviews. For as far as it's gone so far.
Yeah, I just, for me, it just didn't really do much to really capture my interest. I was like, okay, it's another isekai affair. It's just this time he's a slime.
Yeah, it's the first two episodes were really interesting.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of got into, I'm going to go to a dwarf town, and or the goblins, recruit an army, blah, 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 blah. It was just kind of boring power fantasy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I hear that it starts to get a little bit more interesting after Rimuru actually gets his body, so... Mm-hmm. So it's definitely something that we might have to take a look back at.
I mean, yeah, I definitely plan on watching it, for sure.
Yeah.
Cells at Work, also getting a second season.
Not
really sure when that's supposed to be for them.
There hasn't been any announcement for when exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, but I haven't seen it. That's another show, pretty much in the same area of as Reincarnated as a Slime.
I really liked Cells at Work. I just didn't really... But for me, it was just a matter of I didn't really feel like talking about it on a weekly basis, and it just got a little bit. I don't know. It just wasn't really good for the format of the show. I think.
How much did we watch?
I think we watched a few episodes.
I think it was 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, I liked Cells at Work. Do not get me wrong. I actually liked that show. It was a lot of fun. It was super adorable. Platelet Chan must be protected at all costs.
Yeah, it was very infotastic or whatever the term is. There was a lot of narration about the body and and it's just it was very it's just fun to watch.
Yeah,
and nobody really wants to talk about it except for memes.
Yeah, exactly. Memes are the universal form of communication, I guess.
The big announcement being ReZero finally getting a second season.
Finally! I've been waiting so long.
Yeah, they've been kind of dipping in and out of it with I think they have 2 OVAs now.
Yeah, I think so.
They've been judging interests, see if people still want to watch it or not. Which it turns out everybody fucking wants to watch it. So they finally announced the second season.
Is this a surprise to literally anybody? Yes, people wanted to watch a second season of this show because everybody seemed to. That seemed to be the hot button show that season.
It was for
that
sure.
Was personally
it was the show that everyone was talking about every week.
Yeah, that was personally my favorite show that season.
It was like the Hiroaka Attack on Titan.
Yeah, exactly.
Of its season.
I really like that.
Good news, White Fox is the studio again, so I'm sure they'll do it justice.
That's good. That's really good to hear. I actually saw a piece of news in passing. You remember a while ago how Netflix was slated to release Evangelion on their platform, right? Yeah. So there has officially been a date for when that's supposed to be released. It's supposed to be June 21st of this year. So something else to look forward to in June.
Yeah, I can finally actually watch Evangelion.
I haven't read the article personally yet. I just saw it in passing, and I think that I don't know what exactly has all come of it. I don't know if the original voice cast is going to reprise their roles. I certainly hope so.
Well, it's not a remake, is it?
I don't think so, but
I'm pretty sure they're just putting on Netflix.
I think so. Like there were rumors like circulating around that there might be like might be redubbing it or something like that.
Well, if the internet's taught me anything, is that nobody can lie on the internet, and if someone says it, it must be true.
Very fair. So, getting on to shows for this week. We have quite a few shows to talk about, and we are going to, in 2 weeks worth, we're going to try and give the abridged version of last week's events, like kind of as they relate to this week's shows, and then we're going to start talking a little bit more detailed into the current week of shows. So, starting us off, Boogiepop and Others. The King of Distortion arc has continued.
Oh my god. That scene where Boogiepop jumps out of the building.
Okay.
With, like, the grappling hook, or the bungee jumping scene. That was probably my favorite part of the episode.
They did the superhero landing. They totally did the superhero landing where it's just...
Well, the superhero landing, isn't that where you land with
your
like
fist hitting the ground?
And your knee and your fist hitting the ground? Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite that, but yeah, it was really cool how she cuts off his head and then lands, and then turns around and then opens her cape to let the boy out.
Yeah.
That was just such a cool sequence.
Yeah, and we're, last week we were starting to get a little bit of insight into what the King of Distortion's aim is, but we didn't really get entirely what they were all about just yet. Basically, the King of Distortion appears as whatever is plaguing that person's heart. Like Sakiko, I believe her name was guilty over a friend of hers dying.
Yeah, she has survivor's guilt.
Yeah. And then the little boy, the giant monster that created, the person that created Zoragi, as we find out it's called.
Oh, so I don't think he created Zoragi. I think his powers somehow brought Zoragi into the world.
Yeah.
Because Boogiepop states that someday someone else will acknowledge your existence.
Yeah, which, as we had actually both acknowledged at the time, that Mabura had actually seen it before. It had actually started chasing him and attacking him in that episode, or the episode where it first appeared.
Which one's Mabura?
Mabura is the guy with the shaved sides and kind of a mohawk-looking hair. He kind of looks like the trainer from Uma Musume.
I thought that was Harada.
No, it's Mabura is his name.
Okay, you talking about the hacker guy?
Yes, Hacker Man.
Oh, okay,
yeah, that's Mabura. But he acknowledged that Zoragi was an actual thing. The way that Zoragi came into being, it was like a drawing that was supposed to be a representation of his father, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's like, this is my dad.
Yeah, and then the teachers were all looking at him like, okay, just keep telling yourself that.
So I think that the freaky dragon head part of it, or dinosaur head, wasn't actually part of what Zoragi originally was. Boogiepop cuts off the big old monster part, and then it's just kind of like this doofy looking dinosaur face. And then and Boogiepop's like, well, your exit's been blocked, so you might as well just chill out. And he's just like, alright, I guess I'll go over here now.
Yeah, it was actually also kind of interesting. Like, it sort of played into the idea of, like, this episode kind of played into the idea of, like, urban legends and people believing in it, because it seemed that Boogiepop's, like, power, or how effective it can be, is all based on how people perceive it.
Yeah, because they were worried about the boy not believing in them.
Yeah, exactly. And then they even said something to the effect of, we don't even share the same wavelength, so I'm having a difficult time actually seeing this monster. But then once Makoto started believing in Boogiepop might be able to actually save the day, that's when Boogiepop was actually starting to be able to see Zoragi. I thought that was a really cool idea. It kind of, again, plays into the idea that Boogiepop is an urban legend, and urban legends are only as powerful if they're passed around and believed in. Yeah, kind of plays into the idea of, like, the Phantom Thieves in Persona 5.
We're getting a little more, like, deep lore on the world.
Yeah, what Boogiepop is. And the last thing about Makoto, and this actually directly ties into the current episode, the fact that Makoto is one of the next stage beings. I don't know exactly what to call them. I'd forgotten what Scarecrow referred to them as, like MSPs or something like that.
I don't remember. Mutants.
MSPS, I think. But basically, yeah, mutants. Like people that have like special powers or something of that nature. They basically have quirks. Let's put it that way. They have quirks, and Makoto is one of them. And for some reason, whatever force is trying to pull the strings here, whether it's the King of Distortion or something else, because even Boogiepop doesn't know what they're supposed to be going up against, it's trying to find more beings that are these mutants, really. And that's why it lured things to the Moon Temple.
Yeah, what's his face? Terutsky.
Yeah, Terutsky.
I also want to talk about the conversation between Nitoki and Boogiepop. It was really interesting, where Nitoki in the beginning of the episode, where she pops out of the hole and starts talking to Boogiepop about how, like, Boogiepop actually is really grateful to Takeda because he's, like, the one person that has acknowledged her as a friend.
Oh, that's right.
As a friend.
That's right, because yeah, that's actually, we started to see a little bit more of a human side to Boogiepop.
Yeah, which is funny, because Boogiepop, as we know, isn't really a human.
Yeah, it's not.
He's kind of this creature that shows up whenever.
It's like a force of nature, pretty much.
Yeah, it was just really, it was kind of cool seeing that little personal conversation.
Yeah.
And also getting the confirmation that Nitoki has a crush on Takeda, because we thought that earlier, but now
it's been officially
now it's confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing about Boogiepop is just the idea that it's the fact that it's different from its original incarnations, as far as we know, or it's evolved in some way, shape, or form. Because in the original source material, as far as I remember, it's supposed to be characterized by its sort of like deadpan, monotonous voice and sort of like lack of expressiveness. But then we've seen Boogiepop get very expressive,
very smug.
Yeah,
so much smug.
Yeah, that smug ass smile that it gives.
I love
Smuggy Pop.
Yeah, Smuggy Pop. Just I like the design for what's her face.
Miyashita.
Anyways, yeah. Mm-hmm. She got them thick ass eyebrows though.
So the most recent episode is Habura and Tanaka, the two guys from before, the hacker and the person that he started talking to. They met up with Sakiko. They were basically just trying to figure out what exactly they were supposed to be doing in this Moon Temple. And they get trapped in a situation straight out of fucking Saw.
Are you talking about all the mannequins?
Well, that's one of them. That's actually kind of reminds me more of Death Parade with all the mannequins and stuff. But I'm talking about how Terutsky's like, oh, by the way, for those of you that are outside and you can hear this music, you will not be able to get inside. For all those that are inside, if you were wondering what that sound was before the music started playing, that was the shutters closing. Oxygen has now been cut out.
You're fucked.
Yeah, you are not going to be able to escape, and you will die of asphyxiation.
Although Shiro brings up a pretty good point, saying like, yeah, except for he can't actually do that.
Yeah,
he's not going to be able to actually seal off every single hole in the building.
Yeah, completely cut off. He was basically trying to get people to panic, and
that was really. It really goes back to his design of the building, and they were trying to figure out why he made like an upward ramp.
Yeah,
the building was one big ramp.
Yeah, it was like a spiral.
Yeah, it's just his plan to get people to go upwards. Mm-hmm. Thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it was also a really cool sequence during this episode. Is just when the Moon Temple just turned black. It was just a nice. It was just a cool little detail.
I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be like the building shutters closing.
That was probably.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that has to be it. But at the same time, it just seemed. It was just cool to see.
It was really kick-ass.
Yeah,
like he didn't need to design it in a way that would look super cool, but he did it anyways.
Yeah, I spent as he says towards the end of the episode, I spent the last of the fortune that Terutsky Kyoichiro has to make this building because he knew he was going to die anyway.
I really was caught off guard. Like, okay, we already knew the Total Organization is like the big bad guy, but with the way the show goes, it's kind of like pieced together different stories. I didn't expect the Total Organization to be the thing that was behind all this.
Yeah, exactly.
When he was like, oh yeah, I'm a fake human. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, Eugene, we kind of knew that Terutsky was going to be a fake human anyway, because Scarecrow had been investigating him in an earlier episode, in that flashback sequence.
Well, he could have been a fake human, or he could have been one of those people with superpowers.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but I think that Scarecrow was kind of meant to just investigate a few different things. Like, I guess that's true. He could have been.
He was a detective.
Yeah, that is very true. I think that the weirdest part was when Itoki has a conversation with the ghost of Saotome, the kid that was working with the Manticore before.
Yeah. The King of Distortion.
Yeah, the King of Distortion, or we don't entirely know
herself. I guess
we don't entirely know exactly what's really pulling the strings here, because the King of Distortion, as we see at the end of the episode, doesn't really seem to be the being that is pulling the strings here. There is something bigger and meaner here, I think. Because as Boogiepop was talking with Sakiko, how she felt guilty about, like, I deserve to die. I'm a terrible person. My friend died because of me. Stuff like that. And then Boogiepop basically says, "Well, was your King of Distortion kind to you?" Because the King of Distortion really is just is a distorted version of whatever's inside somebody's heart. So its kindness was actually your kindness. It has just been distorted. And if you're feeling this guilty, that shows a clear sign of how kind of a person you truly are.
Yeah, that was, like, once again, seeing more of a human side to Boogiepop.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Her, like, Boogiepop, at the end of the day, wants to help people.
Yeah, I think Boogiepop is just a being that really just wants to find people that are truly enemies to the world. And it recognized that this troubled girl really wasn't a threat to the world. It's just somebody who needed help.
Well, the interesting thing is that Boogiepop, like, states that, yeah, I'm just here to beat up the stuff that's the threat. Mm-hmm. But, like, we see multiple times where Boogiepop, when it's not even, like, related to stopping a threat, Boogiepop will go out of their way to save people. Like, for example, there was a girl that was going to commit suicide, like, way earlier on. And Boogiepop pretty much convinces her to not jump off the building. And then you have Boogiepop here stopping to talk to, was it Sakiki?
Yeah. Sakiko.
Sakiko saying basically like you don't need to feel the guilt anymore. You've been a kind person all along, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. I think that. But then there was a really weird sequence when Boogiepop started going on this little bit of a monologue, saying, "Well, if it's maybe not everything that glitters is gold." And she's reaching up towards the ceiling, and then she just like gets teleported somewhere else.
I think that was. I might have been Boogiepop getting sucked into, like, maybe their own mind.
Maybe.
Because that's what happens whenever anyone else goes from being awake to into the quote-unquote dream state.
Yeah.
They just like, pop right into it.
Yeah, and then even Boogiepop was like, oh, jeez, if this isn't going to be easy, is it? Because,
and also it's, Boogiepop at the end of the day is inhabiting a human body.
So it's, if anything else, it's probably targeting Toka, not her, not Boogiepop. Just Boogiepop is the one in control, so it's aware of what's going on. That's a good point. I hadn't actually considered that. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about the really long info dump from Taratsky, like talking about how, as we'd said before, he'd already kind of talked about like how he used all of his fortune just to make this one building, just to basically screw with the Toa organization, because he knew that he was going to get killed by them someday anyway. Mm-hmm. But he built this entire temple, as it turns out, just as pretty much an experiment, is what I got. Because
he built it as to me it seems like he built it as like a recruitment center.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Because at the end he's like, well, if you're here
and you're awake,
that means you can be an enemy to the Toa organization.
Exactly. Like he basically pointed out that the people that had actually woken up probably are these special powered people. Like the reason that they are there is why they're there is because of that, pretty much. And I think that was a really cool way of going about it. Then he gets killed on camera.
Yeah, I love that. Like, oh, you're here. Yeah, you won't have any problem killing me.
Eugene. What a terrifying name for a villain, by the way. Eugene. But
villain is a strong word.
Or I guess just an assassin. Mm. But the weirdest thing about it was Tanaka turning out to be like some kind of dead-eyed fish person, pretty much. It's
those are the eyes that people see whenever they're in the dream world.
Mm. You think so?
Yeah, because like whenever someone sees, or not always, but a lot of the time whenever someone's in that dream world, they see people with eyes like that.
Yeah, I guess so. Like it made me wonder if Shiro is actually the person pulling the strings, because it seemed kind of convenient that he knew, like, where to go and stuff like that.
And he's the secret bad guy?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Why, though? Like, why would he be the secret bad guy?
I don't know, but in the conversation between Nitoki and Sayada, I believe his name is, or whatever his name was, that guy had that guy actually called him out by name before, so maybe there's something important there that we're missing. And Nitoki said something, "I know what you are, King of Distortion," or "I figured out something about you," which we, the audience, still haven't. I think we'll finally get all the answers next episode, but I think that it is kind of bizarre, like, whatever is leading people into this building. I wonder if it's Shiro, or a being inhabiting Shiro, or because it even tried to lead in Takeda.
Yeah, Takeda is... Well, the thing is, Takeda might be in the building, or he might not, because he went into the dream state, and whenever people do that, they end up, like, being actually unconscious on the floor. Yeah. So I'm not sure if he's just walking there, actually.
Yeah.
Or he's just unconscious on the ground outside.
Yeah, and he didn't really follow Toka. Like, he hesitated before he crossed the threshold, so maybe he sensed that something was off.
I think he's probably going to end up inside.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. This series has done a really good job of kind of just keeping you engaged, and all the psychological stuff continues to be awesome to watch.
Tune in next week for the exciting finale.
Yep, exciting finale.
So next up, we got Dororo. We got to learn more about Tohomaru.
Yeah, Tohomaru, and it was really interesting seeing Tohomaru just sort of like how prideful of a person he is. Like, he recognizes that he is the son of a very powerful lord, and how he wants to do right by his...
I just want my dad to love me!
Yeah, well... I think that he takes a lot of pride in just the land itself as well, because he recognizes he thinks his father is a great man and somebody who brought peace and prosperity to this specific land, when in reality it's all built on a falsehood. And he doesn't know that. So he's basically fighting for... It's kind of tragic in a way that he's basically fighting for a lie, because he doesn't seem like a bad person.
No, he seems like a good kid.
Yeah, he seems like a legitimately good kid who's just trying to do right by his family.
Because when he went to help when he offered to kill the monster, I think, part of it was trying to prove himself to his dad. But also I think part of it was just he wanted to help these people who were in trouble
on his land.
His land. Well, not yet his land, but... Yeah. Gonna be his land one day.
Exactly. And I think that, he just wanted to fight Scary Crab Demon, which... It was actually a pretty interesting way they displayed the Crab Demon in that episode, because it just was basically a whirlpool at first before, like, this creepy-ass moss showed up. It's like a sarlacc pit, but in water.
It was, the sequence in the beginning was kind of like a old horror movie.
Yeah.
You see, like, the perspective from underwater as the guy's kicking his feet.
Yeah, exactly. And then...
all it needs is, like, a... and
then, of course, at the end, you see, like, his freaking just hat float up or something like that, just showing it's like, hey, there was a guy here at one point, but I liked it. I thought it was I'm
just waiting for, like, an overlay of, like, the terror in the deep.
Dun, dun, dun! Yeah, and I think it was just really cool, like, the entire sequence when they were trying to kill the Crab Demon at first, like,
Before they trapped it, you mean?
Yeah, before they got, like, it was just, we're gonna try and get it in boats. They managed to wound it, but then Tohomaru actually being pretty smart for his age, figuring out, let's trap the damn thing. Let's prepare.
Yeah, I was surprised they got out without... I think they killed the crab without anybody dying.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
Except for the first guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's fine. Don't worry about him.
Yeah.
And all the other people that probably died before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't worry. Just, aside from those people, fuck them. Who cares?
Peasants. Who cares?
But it was really cool seeing him, like, actually... You almost forget that most of these people are just regular human beings, but they're still able to hurt these monsters. Like, because Tohomaru wasn't particularly strong or anything like that, but he was still able to slash a demon.
Yeah, I think that people in this world definitely have exaggerated strength.
Yeah.
Like, kind of supernatural, but not really. Because, like, if you remember, like, way earlier on with the bird demon that came down and Biwamaru just, like, does a Z slash and cuts the bird out of the sky.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was really cool.
And they're not, like, superhumans.
No, they're just regular people, and they can get hurt and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, we've seen that with Hyakimaru, like, screaming out in pain when he got his leg bit off, for instance. Yeah. But, it's easy to forget sometimes that these are just regular human beings, but they are capable of doing some semi-extraordinary feats. It's an anime at the end of the day.
I really digged the Monster Hunter-esque battle.
Oh, yeah.
When he lured it into... Because like, it felt like a Monster Hunter quest. He's like, oh, we gotta lure the monster to this place and use this specific weapon.
Yeah, like a siege fight, like with the Daran Morin or the Lao Shinlong or something like that. Yeah.
The crab battle.
Yeah, crab battle! But, and it was really cool seeing, like, how the crab is actually learning to fight back. Like, it recognized that the gates were what was keeping it inland, so it started throwing rocks at it.
I thought that scene was kind of dumb, because it was, like, I understand talking is free action. Throwing rocks at a gate should not be a free action. He threw, like, 2 rocks, and they were like, Nani? He's throwing rocks at the gate! And then he threw, like, 2 more rocks. Like, why didn't it occur to them to step in and attack him while he was throwing the rocks?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess just to kind of show Hyakimaru being a badass, because one of Takamaru's guards almost got eaten. And
I want to bring up real quick them.
Oh yeah.
How I thought one was a female and one was a male, and maybe
and they even they said no, we 2 brothers. I'm like, the family resemblance is uncanny. It's not really, but
props on them for addressing it that way. They did the same thing with
Dororo.
Yeah. They don't say like, oh, I never realized you were this, or they don't give backstory of like, oh yes, people always call us guy and girl or whatever. Yeah. It's just like they drop it and then they just
kind of move on. Yeah, no, it's a pretty cool way of revealing that. But yeah, we find out a little bit about them, and then Hyakimaru manages to kill the thing in basically a single slash, and then Daigo is seen like kind of overlooking the cliffs or whatever, and sees Hyakimaru down there along with Takamaru and his guards. Mm-hmm. But then moving on to this week's episode was just Hyakimaru just kind of realized, or I guess just figuring out how much of a lie Daigo told his people. Like, because what he was showing was nothing short of propaganda. Like that Kabuki play that was basically saying, I, Daigo Kagemitsu, will slay the demons. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Hyakimaru really realizes what's going on. Because I don't even think
Dororo. I don't think, like, I guess it's more for us, the audience. Because we know the truth, but nobody else does.
Because I don't even think Hyakimaru realizes that that's his family. Like, the only clue he has connecting is the symbol on the pouch he's carrying.
Yeah.
It's like the family...
Yeah, the family crest or whatever. Yeah. That's actually... I want to bring up something kind of interesting about that. Like, think of the way that he stared at Takamaru. He stared at him like a little too long. Maybe he just detected something in his aura, recognizing that the two of them had, like, just something that felt familial.
That's the interesting thing about the show. We never really get any introspectives from Hyakimaru's perspective.
Exactly. I just thought that was a really cool, like, little detail, because he was just kind of staring at him for a little while, so maybe he was thinking something. But we never entirely know what Hyakimaru is thinking, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most interesting parts of the show, in my opinion. It keeps Hyakimaru a mystery.
Yeah, kind of, like, even somebody that Dororo, who's like the closest person to him, is slowly starting to figure out more and more about. And then we talked a little bit about how Takamaru seemed to be just like a good kid, and this was a little bit more. There was a little bit more of that when Takamaru was a little bit like lamenting over the fact that he underestimated the monster that he was fighting, and he just figured it was he realized that he needs to get stronger. Yeah. Like, he realized that if he really wants to be able to protect his land, he needs to get stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he actually thanked Hyakimaru for helping.
Yeah, exactly.
And gave him some sweet, sweet coinage.
Yeah. Dororo was just like, yeah, so pay up. Gimme.
Give me the money.
And we got to see, like, a creepy-ass midwife, like that crazy lady.
Yeah, I didn't realize who she was at first. Until later on, I realized that she was one of the midwives who saw the
quote-unquote red baby. Yeah. Or the demon child, which I want to point out, like, both times. Like, first, she saw Hyakimaru and ran away screaming.
How does she know?
I don't know. Like I don't understand if like the markings on her eye, like on her face, were indicative of something, because like she had like those huge black marks on her face. Like, I don't know if that was just, like, a design choice, or if it was, like, actually part of a curse, or...
She has to have some kind of supernatural vision, because there was no markings on the baby that would tell you anything about how he would look when he was older.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I would...
Baby got no skin!
Yeah, I would have attributed that just to coincidence, and maybe just the ramblings of an old lady, but she did the same thing when she saw Tahamaru, which is... like, again, kind of that familial bond stuff. Maybe she just kind of sensed something. I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
After doing some investigating and then kind of realizing, like, oh, this place is... there's not really a lot for us to do here. Then they find out about this creepy, cursed wall, the Banmon. I thought that was a interesting little sequence.
Yeah, I didn't expect a nine-tailed fox ghost to show up out of nowhere.
I wasn't expecting that either.
I also didn't expect rocks to work on them.
Yeah, who'd have thunk?
Apparently, I was fucking like playing dodgeball, just throwing rocks at spirits.
Here. Yeah, apparently the rocks are strong enough to kill things.
Yeah, that was a cool little action sequence. What's his face? Little boy, don't remember his name.
Sukeroku?
Yeah, he runs off. And now we got Dororo and Daigo face to face.
Oh, you mean Hyakimaru?
Yeah, Hyakimaru and Daigo Kagemitsu face to face for the first time.
Yeah, I think that I want to point out that this series has a tendency of introducing little boy characters with tragic as fuck backstories, because Sukeroku is another example of another small boy who has a very tragic backstory.
Yeah, because we had like
we had Sadu, who had a tragic backstory.
We had like the orphanage kids, the war orphans. I think it's probably something for Dororo to relate to.
Yeah. For
a narrative thing. It's like, because if Dororo didn't have any other kids to relate to, I don't think we'd be able to see as much out of Dororo's character.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, in Dororo, like, if it weren't for that, then Dororo would mainly just be sort of like an exposition or something for the audience to relate to.
Yeah, kind of a snappy little dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
Skewer.
But, the interesting thing about Sukeroku, his home was killed by his home village was burned down by a rival clan, and that's why the whole Banmon Wall exists in the first place.
Yeah, he's wanting to go back, see his mom? Mm-hmm. I don't think his mom's going to be alive.
Yeah, I don't think... yeah, his mom is not going to be alive. Like, he wants her to be, I can understand that.
I want her to be, but I've seen the show before.
Yeah, I know where this is going. I saw episode 6. Episode 6 was the one where Mio got fucking killed, right? I want to say it was episode 6. But point being, a little detail about Hyakimaru's fighting style. Did you notice it?
What?
He only seems to use his arm blades when he gets super serious, because like at first,
I was wondering why he was just using his sword.
Yeah, because at first he was just using a sword, but then I don't know, like midway through he decided, okay, time to use my arm blades.
Yeah, it kind of points more to the fact that I feel like they're saving him getting back his arms for a really situation where he really needs his arm blades.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm kind of expecting him to honestly just chop his arms off.
Maybe.
Like, I feel like it's going to be a situation where he needs to fight something. He doesn't have his arm blades, and he's just going to have to cut his arms off so he can put his prosthetics back on.
Yeah, I imagine so. And I think it's a little weird, because you said before, Kagemitsu and Hyakimaru face to face now. Little father-son bonding time. Yeah. Maybe playing some catch that they didn't get a chance to.
It's interesting because there was a situation where I think it was the fox spirit was about to kill Hyakimaru, and then the archers.
Yeah, the archers shot at it,
blast at it, and then it goes away. So there was a moment where he could have let Hyakimaru die to that spirit, but he's probably too prideful to let that happen. He wants to confront him and talk to him himself about it.
Yeah, probably kill him himself.
Yeah, put him down himself.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that Hyakimaru once again staring could have just been him staring, but he could have also sent something on his father, like he did that again in this when he saw his dad. So we actually got to see the monk appear again. Had been a while since we've seen him. He decided to go investigate the Hall of Hell, which for some reason the Goddess of Mercy statue got cracked again. Like, its neck cracked this episode.
Yeah, I think it might be due to Hyakimaru coming closer to it or something. I don't know.
It could be that. It could also be...
Because that's like the one thing that saved him, right?
It was the thing that that it completely... the thing that didn't make him completely fucking die. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so. Like, at least that's what the show would have you believe.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way.
Yep. This entire episode, though, has just been a treat to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode. I wonder if he's going to kill Daigo, and then Tahamaru is going to be the one to actually fight him from this point forward.
We have another core.
Yeah, we do have another core. So, that was something you were worried about.
Yeah, there's. I think next episode is going to be the end of this arc, so to say, and then the next core is. Yeah, it might have something to do with Tahamaru hating Hyakimaru for killing his dad, maybe.
Yeah, or something like that. Because it's really just, I don't know, like, where the series really can go from this point. Because, like, obviously Hyakimaru is still getting the rest of his body back, but...
I believe they'll figure it out. I'm sure it'll be good still.
Yeah, no, I have no doubt it will. Like, Studio Mappa has done a pretty good job of adapting, like, classic series. Like, they did the same thing with Banana Fish. Like, you were worried about Banana Fish not being able to continue for a second core. And it did that amazingly.
Yeah.
On to the next show for this week. Jojo Golden Winds. I
want to talk about the opening real quick.
Yeah.
Because the opening changed, obviously. I have listened to it probably at least, like, 10 times now.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. I like it a lot. In the beginning, first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. But I absolutely love it now. I have a complaint. And that is being, I don't like just the little recap they have at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
How it's just like, oh, this is what happened in 5 seconds. Like, I think that's kind of a dumb part of the opening.
Yeah.
There's some interesting details in it, though. There's a part where it shows everyone from the waist down, and they're walking away.
And then Fugo's, like, legs, like, start to go forward, but then stop.
That's one detail. But the more important detail is that Giorno's in the front. And Bucciarati is, like, near the back. So everyone's following Giorno, which we got, like, you remember when Mista was saying, like, it's almost like Giorno is our capo.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, like, in the most recent episode,
Narancia basically says something like, it feels like Giorno's the one actually leading us forward.
Yeah, so Giorno's kind of, like, taking over.
Yeah.
As all this. I'm kind of wondering if it's, like, a Fight Club situation where, like, Bucciarati's actually dead, but Giorno's just... He's actually leading the team, but he's, like, thinking Bucciarati's actually there.
Maybe, but they still...
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they still are interacting with Bucciarati like he's actually there and stuff like that, so...
another detail about the opening is the arrow at the end.
Yeah.
So it's a stand arrow, obviously,
mm-hmm.
and Giorno is stabbing something with it. So I'm thinking that either he's going to be stabbing Bucciarati with it, but I think the more likely thing is that he's stabbing himself with it.
Yeah.
To give him more stand powers.
Yeah, that is actually a very important detail because the name of this song is called Traitor's Requiem, and there's a plot point. I'm not sure if I probably should talk about it because I've heard about it.
Spoiler, don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's going into some pretty heavy spoiler territory, but the name of the song is just very telling for a plot point later. Okay. Let me just put it that way. So these past couple episodes have been about the ambiguously gay duo, aka Squalo and Tiziano.
Oh god, I forget what his name is. Tiziano is voiced by one of my favorite voice actors recently.
Yeah, and at least Japanese voice actors. Yeah, he's really good. He voiced Mr. Giraffe. Like, that's when I first started noticing him.
Yeah, Kenjiro Suda.
Yeah, Kenjiro Suda is great. I started paying more attention to him ever since summer of last year when we heard him in Review Starlight. Yeah, he was Mr. Giraffe.
He's also in Run with the Wind. And he's in fucking Sekiro.
Yeah.
Sonos Die Twice.
Oh, really?
The game, yeah, I recently picked that up, and yeah, he plays one of the big bad guys.
Of course.
His voice showed up, I was like...
He's also Ogata and Golden Kamui. He's got a pretty wide portfolio.
Anyway, ambiguously gay duo. And there stands Talking Head. Tiziano's stand was a reference to the American new wave band, the Talking Heads.
Yeah, which... This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife.
Is that what...
Yeah, that actually is the name. That is one of their songs.
Oh, okay.
As the days go by, that song.
Wait, really? That's
the Talking Heads.
Wow, yeah. Okay, I guess I know that song.
Okay, yeah, that's the song that everybody knows by the Talking Heads.
And then Squallow's stand was Clash.
Yeah, the Clash.
Which is a British punk rock band.
Yeah, that played Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know these guys.
Yeah, how did you? Okay, but if you're talking about the subs, what were they? They were Crush and what was the other? And what was
Talking Face?
Yeah, Talking Face or something like that. I don't know. It was stupid. So.
Like I just automatically read it as what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I forget the thing. Crush was actually really hard to because I looked it up because it sounds like he's saying Crush.
Yeah,
but he's saying Clash.
Yeah, it's more like Crush.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's exactly what was weird. That's this show again has a tendency of saying screw copyright.
One of my favorite scenes in this episode was when this guy comes up to Narancia and he's like and he bumps into him and spills some of the wine on his shirt. And then he's just like, you must be an enemy stand. He starts kicking the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah. And then Mista goes up and starts kicking the shit out of him. And then Abakio is just kind of staring, drinking wine. He looks over. And then he starts kicking the shit out of him.
All right. This reminds me very much of Torture Scene.
Yeah, the torture. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, oh, wait, he's unconscious. Never mind.
That scene is just fucking made me lose my shit.
Oh, my God. I'd almost completely forgotten about that scene. That scene was great. I was more distracted by the events of the most recent episode. Like, that was the one that was most on my mind, because this show really does have a tendency of, like, making you forget, like, past events and making you only focus on what's currently going on.
This is just always so much shit happening.
Yeah, exactly. Just, okay, stand battle, stand battle, stand battle. And,
Jojo definitely, like, it very rarely puts on the brakes, because there's always something to go after. Like,
exactly.
In Jojo. And a little bit less in Diamonds Unbreakable, because there was a little bit more downtime.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was just a few episodes where they didn't know who to go after. They weren't even aware that Kira was a thing yet. But anyway, back to Golden Wind. I think that it was actually kind of hilarious, like when Narancia is like just basically stirring his soup around, and then all of a sudden he sees his spoon just go missing. And then the creepy shark, barracuda, whatever you want to fucking call it.
Clash.
Yeah, the Crash. Yeah, it shows up and then bites him and has the ability to teleport to bodies of water, liquid specifically. It doesn't have to be water.
Yeah, and it bites off his tongue.
Yeah, bites off his tongue, and
mostly that was probably mostly a distraction to get Talking Head.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
His tongue, probably.
Yeah, and then Talking Head has a really, really bizarre ability. Make people say the opposite of what they mean. So, constantly telling lies.
And I wonder, like, if you can intentionally, if you weren't as stupid as Narancia, if you could intentionally be like, I'll just say the opposite of what I mean. Or if it's, you have to say what you mean.
I think that, well, Narancia did that a little bit in the most recent episode. Like where he was, because there was that whole scene when Squallow was wounded, and he's basically saying, "Calm down, don't worry about this." He can only say the opposite of what he's saying. We'll get to that scene in a little bit.
Yeah. It's pretty cool how Clash can grab when it's stuck to things, and so when it teleports, it can change its size.
Yeah,
to teleport and stuff. It's
to fit whatever container it's in, pretty much.
Yeah, it was weird that it can also grab things and then change the size of those things.
Yeah,
when it's moving around.
Yeah, that's right. Because it did the same thing. Because it did the thing with Giorno, actually.
Yeah, like just latched onto his neck.
Which that was fucking brutal, by the way. Given this show, I wouldn't have put it past it if it was actually like, oh, this is actually a dummy version of me that I brought to life with Gold Experience or something like that.
No, he was having his neck chewed on for about 10 minutes.
No, I know. I was thinking that's what it was going to be, but I was wrong. And we actually get a really cool, like, cat and mouse game, pretty much. Like, Narancia trying to figure out how to find Squallow and his stand.
It was very reminiscent of his fight with, what was it?
A baby head.
No, it was
Little Feet.
Little Feet, yeah.
That was really cool. And I actually do like seeing Narancia's stand, because it actually is a really cool stand. Very simple, but very cool.
Yeah, just seek and destroy.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest problem I had with this entire fight was after, like, he shoots Squallow, manages to hurt him pretty badly, he starts, like, searching around for them. Giorno gives him a really good piece of advice. Don't go for the stand, go for the user. Which, again, really cool piece of advice from him. But the way they went about handling how he was tracking them down, I personally felt was really stupid.
Just find the person who's breathing the most?
Which, okay, that makes sense, because he'd done that before. I was thinking this whole time, like, okay, why didn't the two of them, like, cause a panic or something like that? Because, like, if everybody's, like, panicking, if everybody's panicking, then it's all a bunch of labored breathing. So they'd be able to blend in that way.
Yeah, it was a little ridiculous that the way you found him was, I'll cut off my tongue, and then anyone who is upset by that will be breathing a lot more. I feel like everyone would be upset by that.
Yeah, like, how did nobody notice this? That's my biggest complaint about that. Is, like,
he's just walking through a crowd of people like, there you are!
Yeah, like, who isn't gonna be perturbed by a kid, like, just walking through, like, all menacing looking with a knife in his hand and a tongue attached to the end of that knife? Like, seriously? Like, how is that? How does that make
sense? It was very Jojo, like,
it's like, okay,
fire and forget. It was cool. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, no, this was so dumb. Like, really. It's not. I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as the moments in this with Man in the Mirror, but it was a little bit dumb.
Yeah, it was a little much. I didn't expect him to be able to just, like, fly his blades into something.
Oh, that was so cool. Like, I've got more than one way to kill you.
Yeah.
And it was actually a really cool, like, little bit when Tiziano basically told him, like, basically temporarily deactivated Talking Head. So
yeah, to trick him.
Yeah, and then as soon as the rest of the group got in, then he basically turned it back on. That was a really cool strategy.
That was pretty clever.
And just missed a shoot while the room was filled with gas.
So the part where he finishes him off, or he finishes off Squallow.
Yeah,
was okay. It was kind of dumb because he's like, now Tiziano sacrificed himself to get the blood there, and then he, like, gets bit in the neck, and he's just like, even if you have a shark inside my jugular, it's not gonna stop me from killing you.
And then he drives the plane into him, causes him to fly up in the air, and just repeatedly shoots him.
The thing he says when he's shooting him is vola 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 vola.
Yeah.
Which vola in Italian is fly.
Yeah.
So and then the catchphrase, the vola
Vieta or something like that.
Vola Vieta or something like that, which it's like fly away.
Yeah. Which that was actually a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, that's the pose and the one-liners.
Yeah,
it's dumb, but it was.
It reminds me a lot of Bucciarati's Arrivederci.
Yeah,
it's like if they were in Russia, it'd be like Do Svidanya or something like that.
One-liners are always fun.
Yeah, this was a really cool one-liner. It was a really cool moment. I was kind of curious because they brought up, like, I feel like if they wanted to make this, make him tracking them down make a little bit more sense, like, him, like, realizing a different use for his stand, like, or a different way for his ability. Because he was able to track down Giorno using the gun residue that when he shot him. Like, and he didn't shoot Squallow directly, but he did shoot his stand, so you'd think that maybe he would be able to track it through the gun residue. That would have been interesting. I don't know, though. Like, I don't know what Araki was thinking. It was just sort of a jazz hands sort of situation.
Stand hands.
Yeah, stand hands. But now the group is going to Sardinia to go find out about the boss's past.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to go find a plane, and there can't be any more people around, so it'll be safe. And I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to be a fight on a plane.
Yeah, it's definitely. This is JoJo. I know how JoJo do.
So, next up is Kaguya-sama, Love is War.
This series continues to be fucking hilarious.
Chika can definitely be a bit of a selfish brat at times.
Oh, God, right? She is totally can be a selfish brat.
Like, let's all go to the fireworks. Oh, wait.
I'm going to be traveling. Yeah. Don't go without me. Yeah. And then Ishigami finally says something right for a change. And a pretty funny thing about that is not only Miyuki comforted him, but also Kaguya. She stopped him and kind of patted him on the shoulder.
I don't think it was comforting so much as them just like, thank God.
Yeah.
Fuck Chika. Like, we're gonna go on this.
Yeah,
this thing.
Exactly. I think that it's definitely just goes to show that nobody's perfect. Even Chika can be a little bit of a spoiled brat at times.
Yeah. I think it was the first bit, I think, in the episode where Kaguya was upset that he didn't touch her, and he was upset that she didn't respect the amount of self-control he had to not touch her.
Yeah.
So I love that whole bit because it was Kaguya trying to figure out why she was right. But I think the more entertaining part was Ishigami just being like, "What kind of dumb bitch does all this stupid shit?" And it's just basically him freaking out.
And even causes Miyuki to say, "Hit the brakes, Ishigami."
Yeah, settle down.
Yeah, just settle down.
This isn't a dating sim.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of hilarious because it's almost like he asked Ishigami for advice just so that he could do the literal opposite because Ishigami isn't skilled at that sort of thing.
No, I mean Ishigami's his friend. He probably.
I think he wanted more to confide in him, not really get, like, actually any legitimate advice from him, because I'm pretty sure he recognized that Ishigami doesn't really have skill in that department. But
it was a cute little ending to it, though, how they made up.
Yeah, like, she touched him on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that was really funny. Actually, no. The first bit wasn't them arguing about who was right. It was the most intense argument about cake ever.
It was spawned by the fact they were upset at each other.
Yeah, but still, it was an intense argument regarding cake. Just, no, you eat it. No, you eat it. No, you eat it.
Yeah, I like the,
Even Ishigami just sort of just staring at the situation like, maybe if I didn't eat that cake, this wouldn't have happened.
This is all my fault. Yeah. All my fault.
I'm gonna go home and die. Don't actually die, though, Ishigami. But the most recent episode, I think it was kind of hilarious because we get a little bit more insight into Hayasaka, actually. Hayasaka is easily one of the best characters in this show.
And I feel like everyone is one of the best characters in the show.
Let me actually get in the case for Hayasaka. She actually just feels like a member of the audience. Like, what she says and what she does is very much like, I think, what the audience is thinking. Like, basically, her whole mindset can be attributed to this. Oh god, just fuck already! And that's pretty much what Hayasaka is trying to do the whole time. Just basically saying that she's just sick of all these mind games.
I think she wants Kaguya to be happy. Because, we get a little bit later on how shitty, Kaguya's life is.
But I was not expecting that from this show. That was just a surprise feels bomb that I was not expecting in the slightest.
But I think she wants Kaguya to be happy, but she's also running out of patience.
Yeah.
With all the, I gotta be the first, he's gotta be the first to tell me. And, she straight up says, this has never worked.
Yeah, just it's like, this pattern has never worked. Not once. You never once paid for drugs. Not once.
I didn't expect Twitter to actually be called Twitter.
I know. I was expecting it to be called Tweeter or something like that. I was expecting that too. I was actually just legitimately impressed. Oh, they actually said Twitter. Huh. Cool. I think it's hilarious. Hayasaka has this ritual apparently. Whenever Kaguya gets too much to handle, she just takes a bath. And she even says being able to wash away this fatigue is the only way that I can make sure I don't lose my patience.
This is a big-ass bath.
Yeah, and a bath that I'd like to point out that she specifically, just made, taped on a sign that said, female employee bath only, do not disturb. And the male employees just kind of went along with it.
Well, they were obviously can she do this?
Yeah, they're
can she keep doing this?
Can she actually do that?
And she can do whatever the fuck she wants because she's, the first maid to Kaguya.
Exactly.
Which I have a feeling that Hayasaka probably is not from a super well-to-do family.
No, I don't think so.
So she's I can come to Kaguya's house and use her super fancy bathtub.
Yeah, I like how she went all out for it too. She put on speakers, she put in bath salts, she freaking just pulls out a folding chair,
fucking tosses it in.
Yeah, just fuck you. I gotta vent out some frustration somehow.
Yeah. That was funny. Just watching Kaguya try to figure out how to learn how Twitter works.
Yeah, just exactly. She's about as the
announcer. The internet's broken.
Yeah, as this must be the event of the century. And even how the announcer says, or narrator, whatever you want to call him, says she's about as tech savvy as the old man who runs the candy shop.
Moving on to the Chica bit.
Okay.
I want to point out, Chica's fucking adorable with her hair tied up like that.
I know, right?
In that outfit.
Yeah, she was just like her in just casual clothes. Like, like I think it's always interesting to just see like any character who's typically in a school uniform just all of a sudden wearing casual
especially
clothes.
in the anime, it's interesting to see a character wear a different outfit in general.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
I feel like they like 90, not a shot at people at all for doing this, but like 90% of animes have the characters in the same outfit.
I'm pretty sure that's just 90% of cartoons.
Yeah, true.
Unless you're Adventure Time, because they change Marceline's outfit every few episodes she's in, but whatever. That aside, yeah, I was not expecting this skit. This had literally nothing to do with anything. It was just apparently Chika goofing off.
Well, it's a gag manga. Like,
yeah.
They probably have a lot more of those in the manga, I'm assuming.
Yeah, just Chika. It's just Chika enjoying ramen.
The businessman ramen snob.
Yeah, just looking at her, she's like, "Oh, she's just an ordinary girl. I underestimated her. Did she calculate this?"
That's such an intense sequence of eating ramen.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching an episode of like a Shokugeki no Soma or something, except with less porn.
Gonna have to go get ramen again soon.
Oh, the ramen is so good. But I think that it's hilarious. I think that whole bit was hilarious, and then when he even acknowledges, like, he's just like, that's the youth I've been missing all my life, and as soon as she's getting ready to leave, he gives her a thumbs up, and she's like, huh? Yeah, just gives him an awkward thumbs up back.
It was like such a big deal to this guy, and even the ramen shop owner was getting into it too.
Yeah, it reminds me of an Ellen DeGeneres bit when she's talking about like how you ever see somebody on the street and and they wave at you, and you don't know them, but you just wave back anyway. But yeah, the last little skit was basically
it wasn't a skit, really.
Yeah.
It was just it was just really sad.
Well, no, the little bit before that when they were when Kaguya and Miyuki just miss each other.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That was sad.
Yeah.
It's like they want to see each other really bad, and then they like just...
Yeah,
they just miss each other.
Yeah, it's true.
You see Kaguya just kind of sitting in the chair, just kind of wanting to be around him. Like I said it, I think in the first or second episode of this series, that I expected there to be like a feelsy bit near the end. Probably, yeah. I didn't expect it to be so much centered on the drama of like Kaguya's family.
Yeah, or more specifically Kaguya's dad, because I don't think her mom is even around. Like, she might have divorced her dad, she might be dead. I don't know if we know that. If you guys know, leave a comment. But
unless it's a spoiler, then don't leave a comment.
Or if you do, just write spoiler and give a few tabs. Just geez, for the love of God. No, I cannot emphasize that enough. Anywho, like the last little bit, like you just find out like how much of a broken relationship she has with her father. It's actually pretty sad. All he says is, "Oh, you're here. Good." Like, doesn't even he never said good night.
I was a little surprised when Hayasaka was just like, "Go die."
Yeah, just go die, you asshole. Like, I mean, it's probably Hayasaka's probably been her best friend her whole life, or at least the person closest with her. So she's seen this repeatedly.
And then now, Kaguya's lamenting, saying pretty much like, "I'm used to it. I know that I'll never have any control in my life ever."
Yeah, but it was actually kind of sweet. She wanted to go and go shopping with Chika's younger sister, and then Miyuki's sister. Mm-hmm. And I think that was... But then they had to cancel because it's just, I've been summoned to the main house in Kyoto, but then they decided to reschedule instead. Yeah, which was really nice of them. I thought that was very sweet.
So I'm guessing that next episode they're going to reveal an arranged marriage for Kaguya.
I wouldn't be surprised. I hope that's not the way. I hope not, because I actually do want to see Kaguya and Miyuki get together in the end.
Oh, well, yeah. Like, I fully expect them not to go through with the arranged marriage. I think it'll make for a really touching moment, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Yeah, probably. All in all, I just think that this episode was really good. There was a really cool, like, little detail, like that whole sequence when she was talking about how sucky her life is at times. Like, did you notice what the song they were playing?
No.
It was a slowed down, just solely piano version of the outro song.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's cool, because the theme of the outro is pretty much like getting away from her family.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I thought that was just a very, like, it was a touching moment, and she finally acknowledges, like, well, I'll at least be able to see a fireworks show. Which, let's hope that you do. She's a sweet girl. Yeah. I really want her to see a fireworks show. next up, Magnificent Kotobuki. So, these past couple episodes, they just decided to just, like, with the plot.
Yeah, it's like the last 2 or 3 episodes of Fooly Cooly.
Oh, yeah.
Just, like, the entire series is just like, yeah, random.
Plot.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden.
I mean, I think, but with Fooly Cooly, it was a little bit more acceptable because I think that was just part of the joke.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
But here, it just feels a little awkward and out of place.
Yeah, the plot is interesting, in theory.
Yeah.
But the problem is they kind of are just throwing it all out at once.
Yeah, like, because apparently Isao is a complete sociopath, and I was not expecting this.
Yeah, there's holes in the sky leading to another world when we thought it was just another country.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, all of a sudden, there's, like, the person Kilie was chasing turns out to just be a girl, a random girl.
Okay, that pissed me off. That really pissed me off. I'm like, why? Why should we care about this person? Okay, she was just a student of Old Sab as well. Mm-hmm. Like, why did they have this, like, rivalry for all this time? Why didn't they just kill each other?
Yeah. So, going back to the 2 weeks ago episode, it was kind of interesting seeing some of their former work friends, probably.
Yeah.
Emma had a friend, and then Rihanna had those 2 friends.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of just seeing them, interesting seeing them reminisce about how they used to work together with those people.
Yeah, just
and I like the character designs so much in this show.
Yeah, I do too. They're simple, but they're pretty memorable. Like, you can look at Emma and just automatically tell that she's just a snobby rich girl.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, she's kind of snobby.
She's snobby. Let's not mince words here. She's kind of a snobby brat. But not a bad person, not really, but...
My highlight from this episode was probably when Kilie takes Alan up in the sky, and then Alan's just, like, occasionally sneaking drinks. And then all of a sudden they get attacked by mysterious enemies who are definitely not being puppeted by Isao.
Yeah.
And that whole dogfight scene was really cool.
Because they're flying in, like, a much slower plane.
Yeah. But Alan is very calculating and... a lot smarter than he looks.
He just says, "Here, hold this," and then he pulls out a fucking
machine gun.
Yeah, just here, hold this. It's like I shoot a little better when I have a little bit of alcohol in me.
But that whole sequence was really cool. It was shot really well, and I like how because you can only shoot at certain angles.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Okay, turn this way, turn upside down, please,"
and just like asking her to do all these like crazy like maneuvers in a plane that really isn't meant for that sort of thing. So it kind of goes, A, how good of a pilot Kilie is, and B, how good of a shot Alan can be, apparently.
Yeah. But, it was cool, but in the end it didn't matter anyways, because there was too many bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. And then, on top of that, they stole, like, the HR chief. We finally figure out that he's just in cahoots with Isao all of a sudden, because... And he goes into Alan's hospital room, steals his research, and then figures out, oh yeah, this is where the hole is supposed to appear, apparently.
Yeah, it's just squeezing in. Like, they had too much stuff in one episode. They also had the Yulia, former counselor Yulia now.
Yeah.
How she got pretty much, like,
she got
assassinated.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the character assassination, for sure. Mm. Like, because...
Well, she almost got actually assassinated.
Yeah,
they tried to shoot her down on the way out. Yeah, when Lulu offered Kilie a job.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think it was with Isao. But there was just so many plot points, and that was just in last week's episode.
Yeah, this week's episode, we officially get confirmation that Isao is a complete sociopath.
Yeah.
Like as we said before, we were expecting the main villain to be the Stand-in Oil Company. That would have made sense. It would have. But no, they just threw in this other villain. I don't know if they were trying to go for a twist here, but
or maybe Stanton was working with Isao or something.
Something like that. But
it makes sense. They're both trying to homogenize everything.
Yeah, but the biggest problem was, like, if this was a twist they were going for, just a good twist isn't just a twist that you couldn't have seen coming.
Yeah.
Like, a good twist is something that you can see coming, but it's because the clues are there.
Or even if there's no clues, you can sit back and say, I can see that happening.
Yeah, like, just this entire bit with Isao, it didn't make any sense. It didn't feel like it was earned.
Yeah.
Like, because we would have had no inclination to really, aside from just you, aside from Julia, not really having much of a, like, not really agreeing with Isao on some matters.
Yeah, and they definitely, like, played Isao up as a hero earlier on, even going to the fact of saying, like, he saved Ryona before, I think, like, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, the narrative definitely pointed towards him being a cool guy, and it didn't really feel like they ever hinted at him being a murderer.
Yeah, like...
And then suddenly it's just like, oh yeah, he's bombing cities now.
Yeah, he's bombing cities, like, he's just saying, hey, shoot them down, like, oh wait, they're surrendering, huh? Never mind, I guess we can't do that, that's no fun. Just, what? And even Ryona is thinking, this doesn't make sense, like...
It's like the audience.
Yeah, just, like, it doesn't make sense, like, there has to be somebody else pulling the strings
He seems like such a good guy.
Yeah, no kidding, it just, I wouldn't have expected him to be a fucking psycho.
Yeah, so, Camila... the girl who, like, showed up, the leader of the Shoto Vigilantes, takes the cake, definitely, for sluttiest looking vigilante I've ever seen.
Yeah.
She, like, shows up with her fucking big old bazongas almost hanging out of her top.
Yeah,
and, like, full on, like, hooker makeup.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That was not appealing to look at makeup.
I was like, you do not look like a pilot.
Yeah, like...
And then, like, given Riona's friends also kind of were fancy, but this was, like, I feel like a little too far.
Yeah, like somebody... Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she asked somebody, like, do I have too much makeup? Well, it depends if you're trying to kill Batman or not. But seriously, like, yeah, she had one of the weirdest character designs, and I will say this, though, the dogfight, once again, the dogfights in the show always are good.
Yeah, the dogfight was kick-ass. How they had it was like cluster missiles or something.
Yeah, that was so cool. And then, like, even, like, turbine engines to, like, speed them up and get them higher into the sky. Yeah, afterburners, thank you. Yeah. That was super cool. And how they're trying to, like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that opening scene from Star Wars Last Jedi, actually, where they had to get bombers, like, they were trying to get bombers to, like, actually, like, drop bombs into the Imperial cruisers or whatever.
Yes, that is a perfect way to spread our channel and get people to like us. Compliment the new Star Wars movie. Everyone loves those.
I wasn't complimenting it. I'm saying that's just what it reminded me of. And it does make me wonder, though, like, if it was actually relatively a common tactic, then, for bombers to have, like big-ass bombers to have, like, escorts like that.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. For sure, yeah, because bombers aren't designed to fight other tiny fighters.
Yeah.
You have to have escorts or they're just going to come up and shoot your bombers down.
Exactly. I just thought that was a really cool... I thought it was really cool, and I'm just saying, that's just what it reminded me of. I'm not complimenting the new Star Wars movie, by the by.
So, the bomber getting sucked up into the hole I thought was kind of dumb.
Yeah, not the bomber, just the bombs that it dropped.
Oh, the bomber went in, too.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, the bomber drove into the hole, and then the bombs also got sucked up along with it. It was... It made, like, it... To the audience, as an audience member, it seemed incredibly visible to me. Yeah. Like, in the sky. Maybe it wasn't if you were actually flying up there.
Yeah.
But he was just like, oh, we made it, finally, bomb the town. And then they just get sucked up. And
I'm pretty sure that was the bomber that Isao was on, and they managed to get away.
He wasn't on it. He was piloting for somewhere else. He just, it got sucked up, and he's just like, what? What happened?
Well, they said that one of the bombers got away, so...
I think he might have been, like, way in the back or something like that.
I don't know.
But either way, the bomber flew in through the portal.
Yeah, I just thought that was really like a Deus Ex Machina situation. We're too late! Oh, by the way, the hole just decided to close up.
Yeah. And then, like we said earlier, the whole Naomi situation... The girl who shows up and she was another mentor of Old Sab. It definitely like cheapened the whole experience of
Kilia's rivalry with it.
Yeah,
with that
and also we never really got an explanation of why Kilia had a rivalry with that plane in the first place.
Yeah, like she just recognized that mark. Okay, that cool, fine, whatever. Why, if they had that much of a rivalry, what sense does it make?
Yeah, and I'm definitely a fan more often than not of showing, not telling. But, like, in this situation, they needed to do a little bit of telling.
Or a little bit of telling or a little bit more actually showing the rivalry and making, like, understand, so we understand, like, how. Like, show us a little bit more details about this rivalry, how they knew each other. Because she did tell us plenty of times, like, oh, that time you shot me down at blah-de-blah, just Kilia going on one of her random rants about it. But that's really about it. It just seems a little too late to bring in a new character.
Yeah, and there's
like way too late.
There's 2 more episodes. I believe we just watched. Yeah, that was episode 10.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna end perfectly fine. It'll probably have a couple more cool dogfights.
Yeah,
and is a completely average series.
Yeah, exactly.
So next up is Mob Psycho 102.
Claw is taking over the city.
Yeah. My favorite part of this episode is easily the end bit with the body improvement captain. Oh, does he have a name?
I'm sure he does.
Everyone just calls him
president.
Kaicho or whatever.
The club president. Yeah. I just want to say that the Ultimate Five are really, really dangerous. Unsurprisingly. Like, they have the ability to, like that plant controlling guy who looks like he's controlling a bunch of Audrey 2s from Little Shop of Horrors, for instance.
The umbrella guy.
Yeah, the umbrella guy.
Which the only thing we've seen him do was... What did he do earlier? I think it was like 2 episodes ago.
I remember he did something, but I don't remember.
We know that he stopped Sho's 3-year charge-up blast.
3 months.
It was 3 months? Yeah, 3-month charge-up blast like it was nothing.
Yeah, so it seems like he just has the ability to create ridiculously powerful barriers, but I think it was hilarious, like, the 7th Division of Claw, like, they were in hiding, they'd been kind of, like, trying to make themselves better, stuff like that, which, good for them, Reagan convinced them out of it, and they were trying to decide, you know what, we should go up against Claw. Reagan decided, nah, I don't really want to do that, until he figures out, oh wait, my insurance won't cover my business.
Gotta get these guys and make them pay up.
Yeah, exactly. So Reagan finally got the motivation he needed.
You are a realistic human being.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it was kind of hilarious too that the Body Improvement Club, like Mob gets like knocked clear across the city because he's like unconscious.
Dimple gets knocked out of him, but he gets punched that hard.
Yeah. Was that one of the Ultimate Five or just like that really big dude? I'm pretty sure it was.
No, I don't think he was. I think he was just one. He was accompanying the. He was.
Yeah, he was.
Because he beat up the other big buff guy.
Yeah.
But he was accompanying all the artificial espers that Reagan managed to just knock out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, what's this smell like?
Yeah, just it's like, does this smell like chloroform to you?
and then Dimple, he got knocked across the city. But yeah, that scene with the Body Improvement Captain, just like even before he got possessed, he was holding that guy.
Yeah, just like
and the concrete was breaking.
Yeah, that was so cool. It was so ridiculous. It was so over the top, but it was just so cool to watch.
It was so like inspiring too. It's like you've gone through all this trouble. Kaguya-sama, and we're not going to let any of that
go to waste. And then, like, Dimple decides to possess him, and that's when he gets, like, 100% muscles.
I thought he was, like, suddenly developing his own psychic powers, which I thought would have been way cooler.
Yeah.
But it is still cool seeing that, this is the 100% potential of his muscles.
Yeah. Not, like, psychically enhanced muscles have nothing to do that, have nothing on muscles that have been trained and honed every single day.
The animation sequence was just so kick-ass.
Yeah. And then we actually get to see another really cool moment in that with Kageyama showing his powers. Like, to the Body Improvement Club.
Showing him off in front of them for the first time.
I think he'd kind of forgotten about it, like, briefly, but then he just kind of...
Well, no, I don't think he forgot. It was a situation of he had to use it, or else they were going to die.
Yeah, and then, because the Body Improvement Club captain couldn't do that, he's like, I can't even feel my arms right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't actually get injured from...
Yeah, like his arms didn't break or something like that. Yeah. But...
Well, then again, it was probably... He also had kind of Dimple's psychic powers to... shield or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But then this recent episode, holy shit, were there so many cool fight sequences.
Yeah, there was the Shimazaki fight with all the claw people.
That was so cool.
Sho attacking his dad.
Yeah.
And
like Mogami showing up again. That was so creepy.
Yeah, that was really cool though.
Yeah.
Because you saw that he actually took all those words that Mob said to heart. Because after he showed up and beat the guy, he's just like, well, I hope you were right about all this. And I'm assuming he finally actually passed on.
Yeah, I think so. It's either that or like Mogami had spent a little bit of time, but then he actually recognized that that Mob had probably surpassed him in some way. He's like, being kind all the time won't solve everything. Sometimes you have to be hard on people in order to truly make a difference. Do that and you'll be invincible. So I think he was actually kind of giving his last little bit of advice to Mob, which would have been really cool, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, even Dimple's like, so is Mogami gone for good this time, or is he just kind of off to the side somewhere?
I think he finally probably was able to pass on.
Yeah. And I think that it was really cool when the artificial espers were just kind of looting the place and robbing the store. They were trying to basically say to Mob, like, oh yeah, if you actually have powers, you can do anything you want. And then Mob was like, well, could you really just make a garden that actually produces lettuce in this sandwich? Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the theme of the first half of the first season.
Yeah. Having powers doesn't make you special, is pretty much what Mob was getting at. And then, yeah, the biggest highlight of this episode, though, was definitely the Shimazaki fight. Like, at first, it was just Ritsu versus Shimazaki, and he was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, it was a little hard to watch, because he was just getting thrown around like a ragdoll.
It's sort of like the Clannad fight when Tomoya was going up against one of the gang leaders, if you remember that bit.
Yeah,
just getting his ass kicked the whole time. But then...
The team fight was definitely really cool.
Yeah, it was super cool.
How they all just eventually learn... he can only defend against so many attacks, and then Hanazawa's actually able to, catch up and figure out where he's gonna go.
Yeah, he's like, you rely way too much on your powers. It's sort of a matter of, it's just a matter of being able to predict where you're going to move at this point, because the way you've done things is incredibly repetitive. It's sort of like what they did in Jojo, the most recent episode where Narancia was figuring out how Crush was working. Or Clash.
Figure out who's going to be next.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of predicting. I thought that was really cool. But then Shimazaki introduces his other power of Mind's Eye. That was a really cool sequence, actually, even though for being still frames. Yeah, I think it was really cool because...
They put just enough animation into it.
Yeah, it was basically... And it was just, I think, a really good way of... A, it saved on animation costs in that little sequence, and B, it was just a matter of he's moving so quickly that you can't really even perceive it happening.
Yeah, it's faster than even the audience can see.
Yeah, I think
they do that in DBZ and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely, when done well, it's a good way of showing how fast someone can be.
Exactly. And not just a lazy attempt at cutting animation costs, but...
Although, even his Mind's Eye couldn't save him from Reagan's
self-defense rush! And then I love how the narrator said, he shouts self-defense rush in a situation where he's not entirely sure if it's self-defense or not.
Yeah, because if everyone around you hears self-defense, then they're like, oh, that's obviously self-defense. I feel like they space it out just enough of him doing that shit that I never expected to happen.
Yeah, because while Mob was walking up looking all intimidating, you just see Shimazaki going on this monologue, and all of a sudden Reagan just kind of starts walking in from
beats the shit out of him. Yeah.
Oh my
God. I love how they just keep using that theme of psychics have shitty bodies.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that it's... And then Mob finally decides that he's going to go up against the boss himself, which I was wrong about something. The boss, turns out, is a very powerful Esper. I was thinking he might be kind of like Reagan and might just be conning everyone. Nope! He's incredibly powerful.
He's a super strong guy. I think Mob's probably going to have to fight Umbrella Guy first. Mm-hmm. And then probably fight the boss. Because it was interesting how he took the words of Keiji. It's just you're going to have to be hard on people sometimes. And the way he took that was, you guys stay behind because you will actually just get in my way.
I'm sorry I have to tell you that, but you're just going to get in my way. You're wounded. You can't... You took way too much damage in that fight against Shimazaki.
Which is he's probably right. They would, because if they're getting attacked, then he'd have to protect them, and he's not going to be able to go all out.
No, I mean, yeah, he brings up a very valid point. They would just hold him back. But at the same time, I think that it's kind of interesting that what kind of person the boss is. Just the amount of preparation he did. I traveled the world for 20 years just to see if world domination was actually possible.
Turns out it is.
Because in his 20 years of travel, he never met an Esper that was more powerful than he was. Well, clearly he hasn't met Mob. So...
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a kick-ass fight.
Yeah, if the episode against Mogami was any indication. And that was just like halfway through.
Well, the guy who did that fight isn't going to be.
Yeah, I know, but it's gonna be bones.
Yeah, I definitely believe they're still going to do it justice.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a badass fight. I'm looking forward to it. Next up, my roommate is a cat. Feels this most recent episode. Like, that's all I have to say about it.
It feels most of the episodes, really.
Yeah, but this most recent episode, I think, like, and I know that you said that you feel that it's a little bit heavy-handed at times. I don't know. Like, I think they've done a little bit, they've kind of caught their stride and have gotten a little bit more in touch with how they're supposed to convey that. Because this most recent episode, I think, did a really good job of that. But, so last episode, what did happen last episode?
The last episode was Hiroto's sister and her friend coming over.
Oh, that's right. And how that was super confusing, because I think you even wrote in the notes for last week, Haru the cat and Haru the person.
Yeah, writing notes for that situation was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to put in parentheses next to everyone which Haru exactly you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That episode was just... It was just kind of Subaru realizing, they're kids. They're just having, like, he wasn't, I think it was hilarious. It's like, oh, I'm going to sleep in, have a good day. Ding dong. Oh, crap, I have visitors.
Yeah, I think he woke up around, like 2 p.m. or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing how, because once he saw Haru, the person, make the food, he's realizing, oh, yeah, this is a delicious meal that it's really simple. Maybe I can also make it too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And I think it was kind of hilarious when he was going to the grocery store, which he'd never really been to the grocery store, apparently. Never really even cooked for himself.
How have you never been to a grocery store? Like, Jesus Christ. I keep getting surprised by how much of a shut-in he is.
Yeah, no kidding.
And how much I consider myself a shut-in.
Yeah, and so he goes to the grocery store and everybody's like telling, like all these different people are saying, like, it's like, hey, buy this meat. Okay, here's a free sample. Okay.
I feel like we've all been in a situation where you just want to go into a store, get something, leave, and they're like, oh, would you like to buy this condo, or would you like to sell us your soul?
It's like, no, I wouldn't.
I just want Cheez-Its, leave me alone!
Just leave me alone! But Hiroto shows what a good friend he is by being that voice of reason, saying, hey, I'm sorry, my friend's is kind of socially inept, actually doesn't need this stuff.
Yeah, Hiroto is reliable in certain situations.
Yeah. I think he's reliable in a lot of situations. He's just been that person that's been kind of sticking around. He's a little bit of a goofball.
He's reliable in terms of you always see him eating a fish sausage every time he's on screen, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And it's always out of Subaru's fridge.
Yeah. I feel like he brings over more than he eats, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
The scene where he was making the food was really sweet to watch, just because there was so many moments where he was about to stop, and he realizes, like, maybe I shouldn't stop. Maybe I should actually work hard on this.
Yeah, and, like, because he wanted he wanted to have dinner with his family at that point, because Haru was a member of his family.
Yeah, he wanted Haru to eat tasty food.
And
the Haru's perspective of this episode was adorable.
Oh, that's right.
Her constant struggle between tasty food and, no, wait, I have to make sure that he eats first.
Yeah, that was adorable.
I just love Haru's little, like, so protective.
Yeah, she's guard cat Haru, or big sis Haru, I guess. Which I guess makes sense. Like, I've heard that commonly, I don't know how true this is, but I have heard that cats often see humans as, like, big dumb babies that need protection. And so if that's true, then they're certainly channeling that perspective here.
Yeah, that's definitely how it's portrayed, for sure.
Yeah, which I think was adorable. It was super adorable how it was handled here.
But talking about this most recent episode, I still don't like how they're handling... I don't like how they handle Subaru being sad about his parents. I feel like because they play the flashbacks of the parents, and then they play sad music, and then Subaru looks sad. It feels like they had good ideas for how they wanted to handle it, but whoever was directing it, they didn't know how to do it necessarily in the most organic way.
I guess that makes sense. I think that one scene that actually they did do it quite well on was the scene when he was talking with Kawase over the phone, like what hotel he was wanting to stay at, and he was listing off all the hotels, and then he overheard the one that his parents ended up staying at. And then there was like a brief, there was a brief cut of like him. I'm assuming just right after the funeral, him seeing like the hotel that was circled and him just ripping the paper down and him being really sad. I think that was a pretty good way of showing it. Like, they didn't really show his parents. You were able to just kind of connect the dots, which I thought was personally handled pretty well. I liked that. But, and I think that it was ultimately like a really good way of wanting to portray like why he wanted to go to this place, like why he wanted to go to Hokushima in the first place, because it was for his mom, and his mom had been wanting to go there because she wanted to bring him to see these really cool like blue flowers and like really vibrant blue dyes, because Subaru's always liked the color blue apparently.
Yeah, they definitely portray his mom as like the sweetest lady.
Yeah,
that she was like so patient with him and never forced him to go anywhere.
Yeah, like how they even said how she'd always made 3 reservations for 3 in the event that he ever wanted to change his mind at any time.
I guess that's another maybe a little complaint I have, is that maybe his parents almost seem too perfect at times.
Yeah,
all he remembers is, I mean, that could just be his perspective.
It could also just be his grief kicking in. You start to remember the good things and kind of more painful things, and how you feel guilty about that more than anything else. And I think that's like a relatively real way of portraying grief, though. Like, because usually when someone is sad and grieving about stuff like that, it's always that people always tend to go to those what if situations. What if I had done this? I should have done this. I could have done that, and stuff like that. And it shows that it's just a kind of an ever-present process. It's something, like, even if he said, I can't change the past, I can only work towards making it tomorrow better, you still slip into that every once in a while. You were still sad. And I think it was a good way for him to want to reconnect with his parents, and probably put those to rest for good.
Yeah, I really liked his decision to go to this specific place, like you said earlier, because it was the last place his parents went to. Before they died. Mm-hmm. Like, it's where he saw him last.
Yeah, I think that it would have been I agree that it could have been a little handled better, but overall, I liked how they portrayed it here. Like, I liked like his decision to go there, and ultimately like his realization, and ultimately why he realized stuff like that. But there's a bigger problem. Haru's now alone.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think they're making it to be a bigger deal than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Hiroto will go back and, like, all he needs to do is call him, and he'll probably go over there and take care of his cat if he needs to.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, when he goes and checks on the flight that's going to be late, it's just like, oh no! This is the end of the world.
It's not really.
Like, they're making it out to. I know they're trying to make a big dramatic conclusion for the show.
Yeah,
because it's almost over. But like, your cat's gonna be by itself for maybe a few more hours. You can call someone to take care of it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could have, like, yes, he wanted to bring it just like at a kennel, like, but
he wanted to check it into a pet hotel.
Yeah,
but Haru was not having any of that.
And during that sequence, they played like the most stock cat sound effects you that sound effect, like everybody's
it's like someone pushed the angry cat button on a soundboard.
Exactly. It was like the most stock cat sound effects I've ever heard. It was hilarious, but I don't know. I don't understand why they're trying to make it such a bigger deal than it needs to be. Like, he could have left it with Narumi, for instance.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Like, or even Hiroto, like you said, is going to check up on her anyway, so probably just have him stay with her for a little while.
Yeah, these are, like, the complaints aside, I'm sure it'll still end in a fine way.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to end good. Mm-hmm. I like this series. It's been
surprisingly good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I almost forgot. It was a really sweet little scene when Yugo showed up to his house.
Oh, that's right.
Apologizing for how he treated him. It's just like, it's always nice seeing somebody that appreciates your work.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
And I feel like every time that happens to him, he kind of comes out of the shell a little bit more.
Yeah. I still think that it has enough. I think that particular scene doesn't have anything on the scene with the little boy asking him to shake his hand.
For sure.
I like that.
That was the biggest of those scenes, for sure.
Yeah, for real. But the Yugo bit certainly did a good job.
So, next up is The Price of Smiles.
Also known as How Not to End a Fucking Series.
God, it was such a terrible ending. Like it was alright before the credits. Like that's an okay ending, I guess.
It's sort of like, okay, you know what? The series had problems, and it could, and it was sort of open-ended, sort of ambiguous, maybe a little arty. I would have been okay with that. Then they played the after-credits scene. This is literally how not to end a series.
Yeah, because before they played the credit scene, it was like a maybe. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe everything's going to suck. And that was what made the decision. That was what made Stella's decision interesting. Mm-hmm. Because Stella was like, well, because she was arguing with Yuki, saying, you're not just going to shut down the military. You're going to shut down our food supplies. Yeah, you're going to shut down our infrastructure for communications and all that jazz.
You're basically going to fundamentally change the world, and maybe not everybody's going to be able to survive in that.
Exactly. It made it sound like it would be a really shitty situation for anywhere in the near future. Mm-hmm. But after the credit scene, it was just like, happy at the orphanage. There's kids. Everyone's happy. No one's upset. Here's the Empire just decided to sign a treaty, and we're going to be friends now.
No!
Yeah, there's literally no consequences that we saw.
Yeah, which just this is like Darling in the Franxx level frustrating.
Yeah. I'm not as frustrated at this as I was Darling in the Franxx, because I feel like Darling in the Franxx was a amazing show for most of it, and then it got really poopy at the end. Yeah, this was it was like an above average show at the beginning, and it kind of slowly petered down. So at this point, I wasn't really that upset.
Yeah, I was fully prepared to give the show like a 5 at the end. That ending just made me go, yeah, that's no, just no. I don't have any words. There's no words. There's just anger.
I thought the episode leading up to that, episode 11 was not that bad actually. Mm-hmm. I liked Huey's kind of bit where he started kind of lashing out, and it was kind of mourning in his own way.
Yeah. And then Stella finally punching him in the face.
Yeah. After getting punched in the face herself.
Yeah. And he punched her back.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then the two of them sort of coming to an understanding, the reason why she punched him is because she saw, how she used to be in him, and she hated that.
Yeah. And then the whole mobile artillery bluff was
that was really cool. I mean, there were some pretty this series has been a bunch of interesting ideas, but just then less than stellar follow through. And in the case of the ending, the absolute ending scene, complete garbage.
Yeah, just flopped.
Yeah, just
so hard.
Yeah. It's
that doesn't erase all the cool bits before, but it certainly
leaves a very bad impression. Yeah. It kind of the way that it hits the ground. It kind of reminds me of that scene from Asobi Asabase when the president of the shogi club goes flying. Oh yeah, yeah, and then hits the ground and eats shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's sort of exactly what it reminds me of.
We've got to talk about the scene when she finally pushes the button, and then this dramatic music starts flaring up. It's kind of a really pretty scene. You see robots shutting down, lots of lights turning off and everything. Yeah, it's oh, that's a pretty cool scene. But they kind of they just end the scene in the middle of the song, and the song just kind of fades out. It sounds like they cut off the song early. Yeah, when you're doing a scene with a really dramatic song, you have to do the whole song. Yeah, or it doesn't play the scene very well.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it kind of just feels like the ending direction for this episode. It's we had an idea for something kind of arty, sort of ambiguous and stuff like that, kind of end of Evangelion-ish. But then another director or whoever was in charge of the project says, no, we can't have any of that shit. Let's just add this little 3-minute snippet of the after the credits where everything's hunky dory.
What they should have done, which would have made it slightly better, is play the goddamn opening for that sequence.
Yeah,
because then it would at least elicited my Pavlovian response of, yeah, they're playing the opening in the last episode.
Yeah. I think we've made that point before, where it's just almost always hype. Yeah. Anytime they play the intro in the last episode or in the big climactic scene. Yeah.
So later on we'll be whenever we do a wrap up, we'll be talking about this series as a whole.
Yeah, I think that there was just some really weird decisions made here. I guess kind of what I was expecting from this series was a little bit like of a mishmash of like the plot of Code Geass and Tales of Vesperia, kind of, because like the Krars are sort of like the Blastia and stuff like that, how they're like kind of changing the world structure and stuff like that. And then like with Yuki and Stella kind of having opposing ideals, I was expecting kind of a Suzaku Lelouch sort of kind of rivalry going on. And even Layla, which she died in the most trite way possible. Oh,
yeah.
Like,
I gotta save my daughter.
Like, okay, this would have been a lot more impactful if the audience didn't already know that these two were related from, like, fucking miles away.
Yeah.
Like, they telegraphed this so hard that the moment that it's just like, oh, she's gonna die, and there she is, she's dead.
I actually would have liked to see a lot more if, let's say, for example, Stella walks in, and then she's kind of typing on the computer, she shoots it, and turns around, and then maybe, like, reaches back to activate something else, and then Stella just shoots her in the head. Like, that would have been so much better, because it would have been so tragic.
Yeah.
Because, Layla realizes that it's her daughter in, like, the last second. We could have had Layla realize, oh, that's my daughter. Bang! Pulls the trigger, gets shot in the head, killed by her own daughter. That would have been such a fantastic way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, or even, like, shot, like, in the chest or something, so while she was bleeding out, she could still, like, think to herself, you both are my precious daughters, which, that is another thing to bring up. Like, it would have been very interesting. It could, like, that whole thing could have been, like, a rivalry sort of between sisters, pretty much. Because a kind of clash of ideals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, the series really should have just gone on for 2 cours.
Yeah, well, really. let's save this for our season wrap-up.
Anyway, talking about
the series as a whole later on.
But,
disappointing last episode.
Disappointing last episode. Promised Neverland.
Complete opposite. A not disappointing at all episode.
Okay, the episode before this episode, was fucking depressing.
Yeah, just seeing an absolutely defeated Emma and Norman.
Not Norman.
Or Emma and Ray, yeah.
Yeah, because the whole episode before was all about, Norman's shipping date is finally set. Norman's going to be set off. He's going to die. And Norman was totally willing to just let it happen.
Yeah, because that's how his plan works.
Yeah, and it just seeing like how Norman... Just seeing how, like, Ray and Emma are trying to talk him out of it, saying, no, we can still salvage this. We can still do something. You don't have to do something this crazy. And even Emma's, like, last-ditch effort.
Oh, my God. They showed his suspense so well. That scene just had me off of my seat, pretty much.
Yeah, where she ran up going to hug him, but then she was going to use, like, the tracking device, basically jammer, put it on his ear and tell him, run. But then he basically just throws her to the ground and says, "No, don't be an idiot."
Yeah, it was so hard when she finally like just accepts it, mm-hmm. and she can't even talk because she's probably afraid she's gonna burst into tears. Yeah, he's like, "You gotta be good now." She just responds with,
Yeah, no kidding. And even Isabella basically just threatening her, like, by whispering into her ear, "If you cause another scene, I'll kill you." Like. Ugh, God, it's so chilling.
I'll break your other leg.
I don't know why she sounds like Mickey Mouse all of a sudden, but...
So I want to point out that, so when Mama, or Isabella, brings Norman out, well, really quick, the scene where when he asks her if she's happy was really interesting. Just seeing that kind of knee-jerk response out of her. She almost stops.
Just sort of like
yes,
like the facade kind of breaks for like a fraction of a second.
Yeah, but she takes him into the gate area, and then she's like, "Hey, Norman, go sit in that room for a while." Mm-hmm. That seemed kind of weird to me. Like, I feel like maybe it's because Norman accepted it and he's not going to try and run away, so that's normal to do. Because the only time we've ever seen it was with Crone and
Connie. And Connie, we didn't really see
what we saw the aftermath.
Yeah,
and we knew that Crone was trying to defend herself. So, so they had to kill her right there. Maybe that's like a processing room, or maybe Isabella had a plan for Norman.
Well, I mean, I think because he was such special merchandise, there must have been something that that had been factored in. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, we don't really know what had happened. What happened to Norman, but the But the ending of this episode, like, there was just, like, the sequence of, like, just everybody trying to talk to Emma, and Ray just kind of, like, absent-mindedly reading a book. I don't even think he was reading. He might have just been just staring at the fucking book.
Yeah.
Off his face.
Making it look like he's given up.
Yeah. And very interesting point that you say, making it look like he's given up. Because at the end, it's like, Emma, so tell me the truth. You haven't given up, have you?
Oh my god.
That look on her face.
Yeah, I'm a stab a bitch look.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy shit.
She had a bit different of a response than I expected, though. Because when the next episode started and she didn't look like that anymore. Like, I was kind of expecting her to be like, yeah, we're going to kill Mom tonight.
Yeah.
But she credit to her, she focused more on coming up with a plan to actually get everyone to escape and not just getting revenge.
Yeah, which I think was really cool.
And this most recent episode was probably the best episode yet. In my opinion. Like, oh my god. All the planning that happened?
Yeah, like the planning on Ray's behalf, for starters. Like, just like, hey, don't underestimate my 6 years of preparation. Like how he's getting ready to start.
That crazy look in his face as he's dousing himself in gasoline.
And him saying, it's such petty, childish revenge, but I'm finally going to deny them the feast they've been waiting 12 years for.
VA. Yeah, for him, just fucking killed it.
Yeah, he just sounded absolutely just fucking insane.
I don't know his name.
Or her name. It might have been
their name, yeah.
But just how absolutely insane they sounded, and how he was getting ready to light himself on fire. Just bye-bye, Emma.
The storyboarding in this episode was just on point, because I loved how they skipped ahead to Emma just crying and screaming. And then the reveal later on, where they showed all the plans, how they went into place, was so good, because there were situations where they didn't necessarily give you all the clues. Mm-hmm. I mean, they gave you a lot of the clues for sure, but it was a situation where you're like, yes, I could have seen that happening. It was like how we said, what were we talking about just now? Before this?
I don't know. Price of Smiles? We were talking about Price of Smiles before this. Or Jojo?
I think it was like, yeah, it might have been Jojo. It was earlier in this episode of the podcast. Mm-hmm. I don't fucking remember. I have the brain of a 90-year-old man. Anyway, yeah, it's just how it felt so good how all these plans worked out. It's like, I definitely think they earned everything they put up there.
Yeah, the thing about Emma, like, you kind of start... Sometimes it's easy to forget sometimes why she's one of the top scorers, but after seeing this, you're like, okay, that's why. Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because it wasn't her plan, per se, because it was all Norman's instructions that he left behind, along with the key that Crone left out of spite. Mm-hmm. But she definitely executed it perfectly.
Well, and then there was just something, like, even some of her ideas, like, were basically would help Norman get through them, is basically...
Oh, yeah, like telling all the kids about that?
Yeah, like...
That was surprising. Like, yeah. I guess you gotta give credit to kids. Mm-hmm. They're not, they're not retarded.
Yeah, no kidding. The other thing about this plan, though, like, so the scene right before, like, the fire starts, like, you see Mama just, like, kind of tucking the kids in. I thought it was a flashback for a second, because, like, the baby she was, like, tucking in, it looked like I thought it was a Babu version of Emma, because it kind of looked like Emma, because it seems like they kind of reused a few different character designs here, but when she goes into her, when she goes back into her office, and the bells start chiming, saying, oh, it's Ray's birthday, it's midnight, she says, happy birthday, goodbye. But then, after she says goodbye, you hear Emma screaming, Ray. So it almost could have been like she was going to say goodbye, Ray. Like, that's kind of a detail that I personally thought of.
Yeah.
Like, she could have just as easily said goodbye, Ray. And then when she finds out, like, that Emma just ran off and then cut her ear off.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of resolve there, because, Emma and Ray both cut their ear off, to leave it behind as a decoy. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah, and I want to point out something, that there's actually a very cool little detail that I didn't notice the first time watching this, but Mama said something very specific when she saw Emma's ear, and then, like, she kind of freaked out for a second. She said, what was on those children's feet?
The shoes, right?
Yeah, the shoes.
Yeah, because, like, if you're going out to avoid a fire, you're not going to stop to grab your shoes, you're just going to go out.
Yeah, but in a prior scene, you see, like, it's something you could very easily miss, but when she goes to tell Gilda, hey, get everybody and get outside, Gilda's wearing her shoes, like, in that scene. Like,
and if you get up for a fire, all of a sudden you're not already going to have your shoes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good detail.
Yeah, it was just a nice little detail. Like, of course, like, it's just something that you don't really pay attention to because of the situation. And obviously, since she was panicking, the audience is panicking. Like, she's not going to notice that. But then when you kind of go, wait, holy shit, that was awesome.
The final nail in the coffin, though, was something I did not expect whatsoever.
Yeah.
And when she's kind of smiling, like, they're still alive, I can go get them. And then when Phil tugs on her leg,
yeah,
I was like, shit, like, because I know Emma's not going to leave someone behind to die.
Yeah.
So, at least I think she's not going to leave someone behind to die, because, so either she's got a plan to come back and get them later, or she finally just realized we can't save everybody.
Yeah, like, because even Ray kind of finds it a little bizarre. He's like, wait, is this really all of us?
Yeah.
And then it's like, nope, it's not all of you guys.
Because they brought the babies with them, right?
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. Like, I think it was just all the, it was most of the, just sort of like the somewhat older kids.
I think it would actually be really fascinating if Emma actually did it at the point where she realized you can't, like, we're not going to be able to save all these babies.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, and I think that she did, and knowing Emma, she probably has a plan in place, or...
Yeah, probably.
Or Norman had
or at least she has
in.
the intention to do it later if she can.
But yeah, she kind of does realize that Ray and Norman have both been kind of right on this front. They can't save everybody right now. Basically sort of a live to fight another day situation.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, Phil and everybody they're still merchandise. They still have to kind of keep up the facade. Like, they can't, I mean, and especially if they're good. Like, Phil, I'm pretty sure, is a pretty smart little 4-year-old. Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's the joke of he's the biggest genius in the entire show.
Like, yeah, I mean, there's that joke, but I think that, yeah, Phil definitely recognizes stuff that is, that most of the audience doesn't know. But I think
it's a pretty cool narrative device.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I'm just looking forward to seeing the conclusion of this season.
Was this 11?
This was 11.
Yeah.
Episode 12 is the... Yeah. I'm sitting on pins and needles here. I need to see the finale of this season. Holy shit. I don't think I've been this hyped for a show in a while. But, oh my god.
So, next up is the Quintessential Quintuplets.
AKA Harem Mind Games continued.
Yeah, like, I didn't expect everyone to be getting in on this liking Uesugi situation. Like, I thought it was going to be more of a situation where they were all kind of friends and then maybe one of them likes him.
Yeah.
But now we got, like, I mean, Itsuki kind of.
Yeah.
She was, I think she was, like, the first one that started liking him, kind of.
No, well, I think that she started definitely liking him more platonically. Like, I think that Miku was definitely the first one to be so visibly interested.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We got Itsuki kind of does, Miku does, Ichiki does, Yotsuba, it's kind of ambiguous.
Yotsuba we're not sure of. She's a wild card.
And then Nino likes him with a blonde wig on.
Yeah, exactly. She likes his alter ego Kintaro. So, the test of courage. Let's talk a little bit about that. It was... Yotsuba decides, hey, I'll help you out because you're the only one doing this. Let's start scaring everybody. Let's scare my sisters. And Itsuki and Nino, not Nina, Christ, they run in, and Itsuki runs off like a little bitch, and starts running off in the wrong direction towards a fucking cliff.
Yeah, they actually put a lot of focus on that charm that Raiha gave to Uesugi, because that charm ends up saving Nino from falling off a fucking cliff.
Yeah, exactly. This entire episode, she was just basically convinced that, she's like, oh, you're the guy from the picture that I remember.
I love his attempts to dissuade her. He's like,
I
can't wait to go drink alcohol even though I'm underage.
Yeah, it's definitely like a, how do you do, fellow kids?
How do you do, fellow adults?
Yeah, no kidding. Like, oh man, how do you do, fellow delinquents, I guess?
Yeah, and although we can tell that this is all complete shallow attraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when he switches to like, oh, I'm gonna go do homework, and I'm really smart, and I know all these things. And she's like, oh, you're smart too?
Yeah.
It's like, you're a fucking thirsty bitch.
Yeah, just because, it's just like, oh, she's just he seems like a bad boy, but he's also smart. Holy shit.
Yeah, she's the only person that I feel like doesn't actually like him. She just wants his dick.
Yeah, exactly. Or she likes Kintaro.
She likes him as long as he has a blonde wig on.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's kind of interesting, like, because he gets hit in the face by something, and I think, like, it wasn't at a branch or something, like, hits him in the face, and he gets a cut.
I don't remember.
So yeah, Nino gives him a bandage, and that's on it, and that's on his head. That actually kind of becomes a plot point in the this week's episode. And at the end, Yotsuba and Uesugi are both helping each other, like, prepare the campfire, and then Ichigo decides to tag along, and then of course they get locked in a fucking cabin together.
Yeah, that was actually a really kind of a hard to watch scene, because you, like, what seemed like such a simple statement to Uesugi of,
we should call it off.
Yeah, maybe we should call off. Then you get the realization of how much Ichiko was actually looking forward to it.
Yeah, she starts crying.
Yeah, without even realizing that she didn't even realize how much she was looking forward to it until he says, no, let's not do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, oh, Ichiko, you're such a good big sister.
Yeah, like, you just want to help out your little sisters, even if it kind of causes you great pain. Mm-hmm. And then the following episode, like, they're kind of just chilling out, thinking, like, okay, how do we get out of here? Like, because people are going to start saying weird things if we don't get out of here.
I loved his deja vu from her thighs on his face, because I'm assuming it's probably back to when he was sleeping on her lap.
Yeah.
During the fireworks thing.
Yeah. It's like, don't you dare say I'm heavy. Don't worry, I won't. By the way, you're too heavy for me to lift up.
You're too heavy. Realistic protagonist is realistic.
Yeah. I actually like the fact that that Futaro is actually a character. Like, he's not just a blank MC that's a badass at everything. Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of cool that he actually does have faults, and he is a person. Like, he feels like an actual person at the end of the day. Going back to, like, how Ichiki is such a big sister, or such a good big sister, when she learns that when she learns what the actual superstition is, and she asks if Miku knew about it. Yeah, she immediately is like, shit. I didn't know that. Yeah, she starts feeling, like, super guilty, because she's like, oh, that's why Miku was looking forward to it. Yeah, it's a really interesting character dynamic between her and Miku. Yeah. And Uesugi. Mm-hmm. Because, like, there's guilt on both sides, because Ichika kind of likes him, but she also knows that Miku likes him. She wants Miku to be happy. And Miku, it feels like she's being greedy by wanting all of his time. Line was, like, it's greedy to want someone all to yourself. Yeah. That's what she said a few episodes ago. I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then it was actually a pretty nice moment when Ichiko was just looking at Futaro, and it's all like, well, it's, by the way, don't worry about it, but in exchange, let's have a little campfire dance right here, right now. Well, that was the scene right before the sad scene. Yeah. Like, they didn't actually get to dance. Yeah. And that was actually, like, a few of the shots in this, by the way, looked like they were something out of, like, March Comes In Like a Lion or something like that. Like, just the way, like, the art style kind of changed at some places. It looked like it was handled by Studio Shaft in some spots. I mean, and what are you talking about? Like, what spots? Like when you see, like, Ichika kind of offering her hand up to dance with her, like, it sort of looks like the art style kind of changed, became a little bit more pastel coloring. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, they do that some. I think when they do that, it's referencing the manga. Maybe. Because, like, a lot of the shots when they show the girls' faces kind of look very similar to the manga art style. There was a point in this episode when Miku and Uesugi were in the igloo. Oh, yeah. And it kind of just shows, like, an artsy picture of her face. Yeah. I think those are specifically, like, manga shots. Maybe. Specifically pages from the manga that they should adapt into pictures. Which I think is a really cool love letter to the source material. Yeah, exactly. I think it is really cool. I was just saying that it kind of looks like something that a Studio Shaft production might do. Yeah, no, I see what you're getting at for sure. Yeah. But overall, like, yeah, that scene was kind of sweet and then kind of sad. But then it also, at first, I was thinking, oh, hey, we're not resulting in the harem cliche of them ending up in a compromising position. Oh wait, there it is.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that this show is a harem show at heart because like they do such a good job of subverting the normal harem tropes, and then every once in a while they're like, let's put one of those back in.
Yeah, because like because when they accidentally knocked the log over, like the log hit the door, caused an alarm to go off, and then sprinklers started going off because of the fire they'd lit. Which, can I point out, that's a really stupid decision to light a fire in a poorly ventilated room.
I think they had windows in like the top sides of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but
yeah, they had a fire alarm system that was set to go off with smoke. So yeah.
And
then
that
wasn't smart.
And then it just conveniently went off like after the impact had already happened at the door, which contextual fires, contextual sprinklers, I guess. And then of course they look like they're all wet, and then Itsuki and Miku are just looking at them, and they just are not amused. They're just not impressed.
Yeah. The skiing scene was pretty goofy.
Yeah.
I love Yotsuba. I love how expressive and cheerful she is about every single thing.
Yeah, everything.
Just cheers up. She's like a medicine for my soul.
Yeah, Yotsuba is a great girl.
But it seems that Miku realized something after spending some time with him in the igloo. Because the episode cuts off with her calling up Ichika saying, "We need to talk about something."
Yeah, I think it does make me. And I thought at first that she was going to be calling Itsuki, because it seemed like Itsuki was involved in Itsuki was wearing an Ichika wig and was basically spying on them.
Was she?
It seemed like it, didn't it?
When?
Like when they were getting ready to go down the hill, and then she was wearing sunglasses. Do you think that was actually Itsuki?
Yeah, because she was going up next to him and she said, you haven't told anybody about yesterday, right? Referring to I might quit school. That was Ichika.
I think that's possible, but
that was Ichika. They talked about the quitting school thing.
No, they didn't say. I thought that maybe he was thinking that's what she was talking about. It was like a misunderstanding situation, because he made explicit reference to the fact, when you girls are just with just your faces, it's kind of difficult to tell who's who.
Tell us in the comments below who's the stupid idiot.
Yeah,
why it's JT.
Fuck off, Rex. Anyway, so I think then the scene in the igloo was also really nice because she realizes, because he talks a little bit about Yotsuba and thinks that it's not necessarily fair to just discredit all the effort she puts forward.
Yeah,
she puts in a lot of, because they were all about the same at one point, but she earned her athleticism.
Yeah, there's so many moments in this series where I'm like, it's so like inspirational.
Yeah,
and wholesome.
Yeah,
where you expect them to just be like, oh, I like this girl.
Yeah,
there's a lot of moments where Uesugi's genuinely like, this is the good parts of this person. This is why they're a good person.
Yeah, exactly.
And like when Yotsuba was like with the basketball team. She's like, sorry, I can't join you. I have other prior engagements.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's important to note that I'm pretty sure that's what made Miku reconsider, because just like the idea of let's not forget a person's efforts. And I think it was actually Ichika who she had acknowledged had actually put in some legitimate effort and actually had spent the most time with him. So it could be like her trying to basically say, Ichika, you can go through with this.
Yeah, maybe. It's either going to be that or her finally realizing that she wants to put in the effort to, or it's probably her thinking that it's okay for her to go after him if she wants to. It's not her being greedy. Because that was the main conflict she's been having over the past couple episodes.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, Rising of the Shield Hero. So, in the most recent episode, the second wave has hit.
Yeah, so I've recently come to the conclusion that I am still very unimpressed by the Raid Shield I'm mad, so I'm going to use my powers thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very average, but it's still really cool to watch. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah,
the show has some hiccup moments, definitely, but it's still, I think, like leaps and bounds above the chaff of isekai garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That is very true. Now, so the episode before that, they were basically preparing for the next wave because it was going to be coming up soon. It was actually after Malty had gotten rejected by Naofumi.
Yeah, Philo gets upset when Naofumi's like, no, we're not going to help you. She's like, I'm mad, I'm leaving. And I think it was like 10 minutes later she comes back and she's fine.
I mean, she has the mind of a child.
She has a bird brain.
Yeah, she's got a bird brain. There we go. That's how we explained it away, I guess. But I think that it is a little bit weird that happens. But we do get to see like a really cool moment from Naofumi. Like we see a bunch of soldiers from the village he had saved.
They're just villagers.
Oh, they are just villagers. Yeah. That's right.
That's why they all have shitty gear.
Yeah, and they just want to show up and say, "Hey, we want to help you."
Yeah, it's basically an RPG party.
Yeah,
like fighter, mage, healer, and archer.
Yeah, and I think pretty sure one of them was a demi-human actually, but I don't know. And he says, "Okay, you can join my party if you collect 150 silver to buy this." And he shows them like a really subpar accessory, really. And
yeah, that was really cool of him.
Yeah,
because he realized that they all have shitty gear, and there's no point in bringing them along unless they can get enough money to get better gear.
Yeah, and that was actually the whole point of this episode. Like they show up at the end, it's like, here we have 150 silver. Here we'll buy the accessory off of you. It's like, keep it for yourself and buy yourself some better gear.
We leave at dawn.
Yeah, exactly. And this most recent episode was the second wave, like dawn of the third day, or whatever, kind of a dawn of the third day type situation, or dawn of the final day.
Well, before we go on, we got to talk about Bow Hero and his shenanigans.
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility.
Oh yeah, little line. Yeah, I thought it almost sounded like you got bit by a radioactive spider or something.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny.
But it's been a consistent theme so far in this series that the other three heroes have been making messes, and Naofumi has had to go clean up those messes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the most recent one was the bow hero went to go save like a town that had been basically like overtaxed by a very corrupt, greedy lord.
He went in and beat the guy up and then left. And it didn't change anything. It just put another person in.
It put like a group. It put the revolutionary group that he put in charge, that he had started with, that he fought alongside in charge, and they were just as bad, pretty much.
It's like when you're at the bottom, just a villager. It's like it's not going to change anything for you unless someone's actually coming to give you things.
Exactly.
Like you're still living in the same town. You're still, Didn't they like also increase the taxes? Or they kept the taxes really high as well because they're like, oh well, we need to rebuild things, so we need taxes.
And a lot of people were dying as a result. And Naofumi calls everybody out on their bullshit. Like he calls both Ren and Itsuki out on basically. It's like, you guys keep screwing up. It's like, I had to deal with problems that you left behind.
Yeah, the bow hero thing seems a little too proud to realize that he was wrong. And there's also the church, or the king being a shithead again when they went to get class upgrades.
Yeah.
They're like, we've actually received royal orders that we can't give you class upgrades.
It's like, and then they go to the slave trader, who's actually turning out to be a better person than the fucking king.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd call him a better person. He still sells slaves.
Yeah.
He just sees Naofumi as a profitable business partner, so he's willing to help him in certain situations.
Well, okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah. BuzzFeed? JT supports slavery?
No, I don't. I just, it's just interesting. It was actually a pretty cool way, though, that they used him to, like, show more of the world. Like, it's like, oh, by the way, you can just do this in any of the other countries.
Yeah, that's definitely an organic way of world building.
Yeah, I thought that was...
I love how one of the countries wasn't like Shieldville or something like that.
Something like that.
It was Shield something, and he's like, "We'll go there."
Shield Haven, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was where all the demi-humans are at. That's what he said.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. And I actually think they were, like, non-hostile demi-humans. They were, like, more quote-unquote civilized demi-humans.
Yeah, they're more likely to accept people.
Yeah. I think that, and going back to the most recent episode, though, the wave has finally hit. I gotta say that I was actually kind of unimpressed with this.
Which part of it?
Most of this episode.
Were you unimpressed with Badass Monk Grandma?
Okay, that aside, that was really cool, and it kind of was a nice tie-in to something he'd done before, because that was a lady that he had given medicine.
I loved his responses. What did I give her?
Yeah! But no, she's just a badass monk grandma.
Yeah, I think she was like that before and she's got sick.
Yeah, but still, it was super cool. Like, that aside, like, other than that, like, it was just, like, a really, like, static fight on a fucking ship.
Yeah, the whole sequence was, it was pretty much like, you guys are doing bad. I'm smart, so I'm gonna come in and save the day. Well, the raid shield bit, I think, was handled a little bit better this time around.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make it out to be this super huge dramatic scene. Mm-hmm. They did a little bit when Raphtalia was, like, in his memories, and he's like, oh, I can control it now.
Yeah.
The Iron Maiden, I think that animation...
Okay, that was super cool.
Was really cool to watch.
Yeah, and then how he just, like, kind of does the thing where he, like, closes it. Mm-hmm. That was also really cool. I think that it was also cool how when Naofumi was looking around, it's like, okay, there's got to be a faster way to spawn a Soul Eater. And then he just looks at the shadow. He's like, hey, Raphtalia, cast light right there. Just sort of paying attention to, like, subtle details like that. Let me just say there were some good details about this episode, but overall it was kind of just felt like build up. Kind of boring.
Yeah, it was, it definitely seems like it was a lead up to this next villain. It definitely didn't feel like threatening. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like a threatening wave.
Yeah.
Because, like, the first one, I think, was a lot more threatening because we got to see all the villagers getting attacked and everything. In this one, it was just like, the wave started and 3 hours passed.
Yeah.
Like, you're not conveying to us, the audience, how threatening the wave actually is.
I think that, and they probably did a lot of that off screen, like, basically saying, like, Naofumi's troops saying, oh yeah, by the way, we've evacuated all the villagers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe it happened,
mm-hmm.
but I don't feel how threatening this situation is as an audience member.
I mean, and I will say that it actually is a little bit cool, like, seeing Naofumi getting involved in what the other heroes were already doing, like in the last wave. And is it Melty or Malty?
It's Melty.
Wait, isn't Melty the younger sister, or is it Malty is like the older sister?
Mine?
Yeah, mine or also
I don't know.
Malty.
I don't remember. I don't remember her actual name.
But anyway, she's still a bitch.
Yeah,
she's still a fucking unrepentant bitch. Like, she's almost comically evil.
I got Naofumi basically just says, "Bitch, shut up."
Yeah, it's like, why
I'm still talking.
Why don't you go defend a village or something? Well, an incompetent hero who can't fight isn't worth anything here. Who's really incompetent here? It's like, I thought that was really cool. And then how it's interesting to see her get all pissy when Meltiyasu actually says, "Hey, I actually need to do something here." It's like, no, you can't help him. It's like, it defies everything that you've done so far as a character. No, I have to help him. Like, the script says that I have to.
I think the heroes are definitely, like they did before. They defended him before, obviously.
Yeah.
Against the king, but I think they're slowly probably getting more and more on his side. I think eventually it's going to be mine and the king are going to be like the only ones.
They're going to be the pariahs, pretty much. Yeah,
they're gonna, and the heroes are going to be all working together eventually. I'm sure.
I
hope that Naofumi doesn't completely forget all the shitty stuff that people have done to him.
Oh yeah.
But it would be, you know, good of him to move on from it and think of, you know, the people's safety first.
Absolutely. I think that this episode also just like seeing the ramifications of the zombie dragon. That whole fight was actually really cool. It was a step in the right direction, I think, for the Rage Shield.
Yeah, and it was cool seeing how it affected Philo.
Yeah,
it was like a kind of, because Philo is his his slave still, I think.
Yeah,
for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
So like the game mechanics, I think, did that kind of.
I don't know if that was the case because Raftalia has a slave crest, and she wasn't affected. I was actually curious if it had something more to do with the fact that she had actually been like attacked by that dragon or something, or hated dragons, so that's what spurred the rage in her. It made me. I'm just curious.
Maybe she's more susceptible to it.
Yeah, because
she is actually more of a beast. Yeah, so I guess there's that.
Yeah, there is that, and I think it was pretty cool how Raftalia stood up for him and basically said, what the hell are you people doing? Actually help us.
Very good audience representation there.
Yeah, exactly. Just stop standing around like morons.
And now we got Glass. This new villain that showed up in this challenges Naofumi to a duel.
And apparently sees Naofumi as the one true hero. Is that because he unlocked the Curse series? I wonder. I was actually curious if she might have been somebody from another world who was brought here, or if she was a denizen of this world. Yeah. I don't know. Like, Glass could just be an alias.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting if she was a person that was summoned for the bad people side.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Mm-hmm. Last up is Run with the Wind.
2 really good episodes.
Yeah, like really, really like touching moments. Lots of introspective on the characters. Haiji is telling people that his leg is fine.
Yeah.
Like his doctor showed up and they were worried about it, but he says it's fine. I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Haiji has been kind of a little too prideful to tell people about stuff like that, so.
Yeah, and I definitely think he wants everyone to focus on the race itself.
Like, I'll finish the race, don't worry about it.
So first up we had Yuki's race.
My god.
His main conflict was, part of it was like his family, and how his mom wanted to remarry. But the other one being him realizing how, like, when he was going down the hill, he's realizing how fast he could run. He's like, and realizing Kakeru does this all the time. Like, this must be such a lonely world to live in when you're the only one who can run this fast.
Yeah. And he runs so fast that his feet start to bleed.
I don't think it was so much running fast as it was his feet being slammed up against his shoes from running downhill.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Because he was taking huge gates going downhill.
Huge strides.
That's going to put so much like pressure on your foot.
Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, and he passes the sash on to Nico, which that was a really cool little moment from like a little bit of flashback from him, like something we'd already kind of seen before. Like it's like, I like running. I've always liked running. My coach told me that I'm probably not the best suited for running because I'm a bigger guy.
Yeah, Nico has a really simple thing to deal with.
Yeah. Because
a lot of people have like, my family, or I have to do this for certain people. Nico's conflict was literally just, I want to run because it's fun.
Yeah, I want to run the way I want to.
Because his coach was telling him, like, oh, you shouldn't run because you're not going to be the best at it.
Yeah,
but it's just like,
and Nico even acknowledges, I'm pretty sure he didn't mean it to be like, he didn't mean that to be an asshole, and
he was a good coach.
Yeah, but
he just at the end of the day, he just wanted to do long distance running because it was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just so heartfelt. To hear that.
And on top of, and it kind of makes sense, like seeing like why he smoked so much and stuff like that, and just how much time and effort he actually put into it as well. Like how much like dieting and quitting smoking, how difficult it was to actually to do all that just so that he could run the way he wanted to, and seeing him actually pass people, super cool.
Yeah, like he realized, he's like, whoa, am I running this fast?
Yeah.
This realizing is actually a lot faster than he thought he was. I think he climbed a few ranks in the run, but he didn't do too well. Yuki got like second in his section.
Yeah.
In terms of time.
Yeah, he was like just behind the other person.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just really nice seeing Nico have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And the end of the episode was like, we're starting King's section, and we begin the next episode with basically King lamenting over like basically what it means to run. Because that's, again, this series has just been pretty much like, what does running mean to each individual person? And King's was I think King's was probably one of the more relatable ones, at least to me.
Yeah, he wanted to be somebody. He wanted to do something with his life. I think he was like worried that he'd never really stood out.
Yeah.
And the thing about running is that when he was running, he didn't need to stand out. It was just him and everyone else who was just running. Everyone's on equal.
He didn't need to put up a front. He didn't need to put up a facade. And without all those restraints, he was finally able to face who he truly was. And what he realized he was is he's nobody. But there's nothing wrong with. But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need to be this big icon to enjoy yourself or to be happy. You can. He has friends.
Yeah.
He has fun with running, and it's just it's a simple existence, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Just because he placed so many expectations on himself. He's got to be the best at this. It's just he didn't know exactly what he wanted out of life or what exactly and was afraid of what other people thought of him and kept people at a distance as a result. It's an incredibly relatable situation.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It was cool how Haiji reminds him, or Haiji calms him down because he's really pissed off at Sakaki because he's making fun of him. He's like, oh, well, I told him he's not the best and now he's beating me so easily. Mm-hmm. And I love how Haiji was like, when you get to the place, remember to tell me that trivia answer.
Yeah, and then are you ready to buzz in with your answer? Are you ready to buzz in with your answer?
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Haiji is just so in touch with each and every one of the members on his team.
Yeah. And then right before King's section ends, Haiji talks with Kurihara, basically gives him a word of encouragement, saying that, to me, you're the strongest runner I've ever seen. You're the best runner I've ever seen. Just become stronger. I don't know if you'll be able to beat Fujioka, but I've seen the way you run. I think that you are the greatest runner. I think that you could easily surpass Fujioka.
Yeah, that was a really cool speech, because it doesn't put a lot of expectations on him.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't tell him that he's going to lose either.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, when Kurihara right before Kurihara starts running, he says, Joji, or was it Jota? One of the twins. I think it was Joji. He says, I've fallen in love too. With who?
Yeah. But I'm assuming probably with running.
Yeah, probably.
That's what he's going to say.
Yeah.
I'll watch it out of nowhere. He's going to be like, with Haiji.
And then, I think it was kind of hilarious. I mean, it was not hilarious. It was very touching when you just see, when he actually starts running for, a fraction of a second. You just see, this kind of lit up smile on Kakeru's face. It's just a pure, unbridled joy of running.
Yeah.
Just
like a child.
Yeah, just that fraction of a second you see it. And Joji is still wait, who are you in love with?
Yeah. There's a lot of really cool artistic symbolism in this episode with Kakeru's running.
Yeah, the hunter's eye thing, hey, there's 3 people right ahead, zoom in on them.
Yeah, and then he just it kind of time skips. He's like, I'm already ahead of them.
Yeah, that was so cool.
And then just seeing his entire body melt away, and he was only concentrating on running. That was the only thing he was thinking of.
Not even the clothes on his back. No, there was the sash still on his chest.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that was the one important thing was the sash. Yeah, it's really cool, just all that different symbolism. And later on when, I think it was near the trance is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How he has a trance, but it's a healthier version of it.
Yeah.
So I want to say earlier in the season he got really into running, but he was so dead focused on it. Mm-hmm. This time he was just in a trance, realizing am I running fast? Is my pace well?
Yeah,
and he's kind of not noticing anything else around him. And that's interesting because before the race he was so focused on Fujioka, his name is, and about beating him. And then as soon as he started running, he forgot about everything else.
Yeah, and then he even just said, I don't really care about my apparent position. All I care about is my time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much all that mattered to him. It's just he wants to do well for the rest of the team. He's got something to run for now.
And I think the title of this episode was "Run with the Wind."
I think so, or
I'm pretty sure that was the title of this episode.
It might have been. It might have also just been Verve glitching out.
Near the end, at the end of the episode when it cuts off, it was really interesting to see, he slowly kind of starts combining with the wind, it looks like. Yeah. And he takes wind inside of him, you see, this big swirl in his chest, and then there's just, a big flash.
Yeah.
And the episode cuts off.
Yeah, that was super cool. I am so looking forward to this final episode.
Yeah, we're gonna see him finish, and then probably the Haiji run, and then a little aftermath. Probably.
Yeah, I want Haiji to not fuck up his leg, but
it's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know. Just this series has got me tense. Like I think we got most of the feels out of the way with Shindo, but I don't know. I really don't know anymore. Yeah. I'm nervous. So anyway, that's going to be it for this week of the Timesink Anime Podcast. This is a little bit longer of an episode.
A lot of stuff to catch up on.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to catch up on because of last week. Yeah, I'm having a really good time with the season.
Yeah, next week is the finale for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's the finale for a lot of things.
I'm sure there will be a lot more interesting finales than there was this week.
Yeah, there was only one thing that had a finale this week. And
I know.
Yeah, and it wasn't particularly interesting.
No, we're not going to say any names.
Yeah, we're not going to say any names.
That would just be rude.
Yeah, but anyway, so and then sometime next week after we do week 13 and are getting ready to do week 1 of spring 2019. Holy crap, it's going to be weird getting used to saying that from now on.
Of course.
We're going to be doing our winter 2019 wrap up. So if you want to see that, just remember to subscribe, comment, and keep this discussion going. Comment.
If you have anything that you saw this week that you thought was interesting, go ahead and leave a comment.
If you want to say how much of fucking idiots we are in some things, then go ahead and leave a comment there. If you just like hearing us talk and ramble about stupid shit, then
those guys don't know what they're talking about anime.
Yeah, if you want to just see more of this and just like hearing us ramble about stupid stuff, just leave a like as well. Been fun, you guys. Till next week. Anchor away. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.